University of Miami freshman David Thompson bombed a 2-run homer in the top of the first Friday night, and the Hurricanes never looked back. Behind 5 shutdown double plays, the Hurricanes did yeoman's work on the corners and up the middle before capping their evening with shortstop and fellow freshman Brandon Lopez hitting his first career home run in the top of the ninth for an 8-3 win. Today it's Game 2 of ACC Baseball, and it's Miami and Wake Forest coming up next right here on the ACC Digital Network.
And we're hoping to hold off the storm and play some more ACC baseball. Game 2 between a key matchup between the Wake Forest Demon Deacons and the Miami Hurricanes from the Wake Forest Baseball Park here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and on the ACC Digital Network, presented by Ruby Tuesday. Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Linke. Delighted to be with former Major Leaguer Scott Pose. And yesterday, Miami got 3 runs in the first. They turned 5 double plays and got another win.
Well, Miami prides itself on pitching and defense. They got that yesterday as well. Some sock from the middle of the lineup. That was a recipe for a victory for the Hurricanes.
The sock came from their freshman third baseman, David Thompson.
David Thompson's one of the talented freshmen on the left side of the infield. He was 2 for 4 yesterday with the home run. He leads these Hurricanes in home runs and RBIs. He provides some solid punch from the middle of the order.
Speaking of solid punch, the big man at first base, 6'7", Matt Conway for Wake Forest.
Matt Conway is a two-way star, meaning he can pitch and he can hit from the middle of the order. He leads the team in doubles. That's the Demon Deacons. He also is second in average and RBIs, but not only that, he's made 11 appearances on the mound. The 6'7" lefty can throw downhill. He's 2-1 with the save, so he's a dual threat and a player to watch for the Demon Deacons.
Good stuff, Scott. Let's take a look now at the Miami Hurricanes starting lineup.
All right, of course, Miami will get it started with Tyson Palmer. He had 3 hits yesterday. He is your left fielder. Alex Hernandez playing second base, batting second. Chance Mack also had 3 hits. You've got Brad Feger at first base, wearing number 27. David Thompson with his 4th home run of the season yesterday. Alex San Juan is your DH, number 10. Garrett Kennedy, the catcher. Brandon Lopez with his first dinger of his career. And then Dale Carey, number 36. And they will be facing the left-handed pitcher for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Austin Stadler, as you take a look defensively now. But Austin Stadler, your thoughts on him, Scott Pose?
Well, Tom Walter says he's been one of the most consistent pitchers for Wake Forest all year, and he's going to throw in the mid-80s and work off a changeup, but he can pound the strike zone, and that's what they're looking for from him today against this Miami team that put up a few runs against Wake Forest last night. He's got a 5-3 record. His ERA is a 3.57, and that's very respectable, especially in a tough ACC conference, arguably one of the best baseball conferences in the country. But Austin Stadler is going to be charged with shutting the Miami Hurricanes down.
Probably the best pitcher for Wake Forest this year. Missed all of last season because of Tommy John surgery as Palmer gets settled in against Stadler, and the first pitch low. He's had 11 strikeouts against Georgia Tech, the best offense in the nation at Georgia Tech, a victory for Wake Forest. He also had 9 in his first game back from Tommy John surgery against Alcorn State. 9 Ks and 0 walks. Take a season off, come on back to the mound. That's a pretty good start.
Oh, that's a real good start. He's going to work in and out. He's not going to overpower you with velocity, but that's what makes him tough. He can spot his fastball. He's having trouble right now. He falls behind 3-0, and take a safe bet that Tyler Palmer is going to be taking this next 3-0 pitch. But what Austin Stadler relies on is guile and trying to stay below hitting speed, meaning he gets people out front as a strike pours across the plate there, rather than staying back and working with the fastball. So it takes incredible discipline to stay back on somebody that has quality breaking stuff and throws off speed pitches.
So after 3 balls, Palmer looks at 2 strikes, and it's full count as Stadler battles back. Palmer, a good day yesterday, 3 hits and 3 runs, and obviously plated the first run for Miami as they got 3 runs in that first inning, and tough pitch right there. They'll check and see. They say Palmer went around. Wow. So out at number 1, a strikeout for Stadler, who has had 11 strikeouts twice in his career. Also did it back against Minnesota in 2011.
That was a good sequence for Stadler. He fell behind 3-0 and then battled back for the 3-2 pitch and throws an off-speed pitch and gets Palmer to offer at a little bit too far. Timothy O'Toole's the first base umpire, said he went too far, and it looked like he did. Got the call right, and it goes as a strikeout.
Hernandez, first pitch, drive out to center, but handled by the center fielder for Wake Forest. As Evan Stevens, the leadoff hitter for Wake, able to track that one down.
Well, Hernandez not wasting any time, getting a fastball up in the zone and hits it on the nose, but into right center, and Evan Stevens did a good job to track the ball and run it down.
So that'll bring Chance Mack now to the plate. Chance Mack having himself a season, leads Miami with a .306 batting average. He also had 3 hits yesterday, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and faked a bunt there with 2 outs.
One of his hits yesterday was a bunt, but then he came up in a later at bat and hit a ball off the wall, so he can beat you with the small ball, and he's got a little bit of pop too.
And picking right up where he's left off all season long pretty much. Mack starts the game with a single. Yeah, that was a great shot yesterday off the right field wall. Hit it so hard, so fast, that as he rounded first, he was like, wait, I can't get to second, and almost got tagged out.
It was a wall ball single, but he got a pitch that was away. It was a fastball away, but up a bit about waist high, and he stays inside it and drives it into left center for the base hit. But Chance Mack has been one of the most consistent hitters for the Hurricanes. He's hitting over 300. He's making solid contact, and he continues his hot-hitting ways here today in his first at-bat.
Mack's got speed, 10 steals on the season, so Stadler will have his hands full as now Brad Feger jumps in there. He was 2 for 4 yesterday with an RBI. Oh, 1 count, and he'll throw back to the big man, Conway. 2 outs, top of the first. Miami jetted out with 3 runs here in the top of the first yesterday. The man on deck, David Thompson, with that 2-run bomb. Feger started out the year at third base. Thompson started at first, and they just did the switch. Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder style, or Cabrera anyway, going over to third base.
They found that he made that move to third and could let his athleticism take over at that position, and it's worked out so far for the Hurricanes. Feger is no worse for the wear either. He's been a solid performer, hitting cleanup for Miami.
Naples High School, another one of those local kids. And Mack picked off in a bit of a pickle, but look at the speed. Somehow gets there as well. So despite being picked off, still able to make it.
Well, Mack was going first move, and that means the base runner takes off as soon as the pitcher starts to move. And sometimes it takes a while for the pitcher to get the ball over to first base, and that's precisely what happened. By the time Stadler picked up his leg, put it down, got the ball to first base to Conway, Mack's taking off like it's a straight steal. He's going to be credited with a stolen base. He gets there and beats the ball.
Swing and a miss by Feger.
When you're a base stealer, it is sometimes the best way to figure out a lefty's move, because if you don't have anything, you guess, you go first movement and run like crazy. Chance Mack did just that and gets his 11th stolen base.
Two outs, Mack on second. Brad Feger actually led the team in batting average a year ago. Always right in the middle of the order for Jim Morris. Won 2 World Series for Miami. World Series, or College World Series, that is. As Feger.
He's hit by the pitch. That makes it a dead ball automatically. Jason Bradley's all over it, and therefore Chance Mack at second base cannot advance. As soon as the ball hits the batter, it becomes dead, and nobody could advance other than the hitter, of course, down to first base.
So with runners at first and second, David Thompson with 3 RBIs yesterday. Also had an RBI double in his second at bat. He's quarterback on the Miami football roster. And he rips this one right in front of Jim Morris.
Well, Thompson's seeing the ball well. He saw that first fastball and could not keep it fair, and he's trying to tell himself to stay back. That's one of the challenges you have in facing a deceptive left-hander like Austin Stadler.
So another solid rip by David Thompson.
Stadler does a good job to hit the outside part of the plate. He's worked Thompson in, got him to foul it off, and then throws the fastball away, and Thompson does the same.
There's Jim Morris, won in '99 and 2001, and of course in 2008. That's the last time they've been to Omaha, the longest drought for this Miami team in quite some time. But 2008, they were phenomenal, the #1 team in the country. It's been a more challenging year, as you talked about some of their key recruits going to the major leagues. Scott, we talked about before going on the air.
Well, one of the things that Miami does is they'll recruit in South Florida and get some top talent. But the talent that they get is usually first, second, third round kids for the major league draft, so they have that decision to make whether to come to college or sign for big dollars. And it's been tough luck for Miami so far because they've lost a number of kids to the professional ranks. And anymore, that's not unique just to Miami. I think it's a lot of the schools in the ACC, which I'll say it again, is one of the top baseball conferences in the country. And when you're competing for that level of talent of player, that's going to happen. And so you're going to have to deal with kids that are getting drafted by professional teams out of high school and present that option. But that's one of the reasons why the ACC is so strong, because they get the top talent in the country.
Thompson taking a look at that one. Thompson, believe it or not, he's batting 5 right here. He was the first freshman to ever hit cleanup on opening day for the Miami Hurricanes, a team that also featured Ryan Braun and Pat Burrell. So it's a pretty good feat by Thompson, who's been bothered by his shoulder mid-season. And he'll strike out here for 3 outs, and Miami will leave a couple runners stranded. And this Saturday afternoon crowd here at Winston-Salem likes what they see from the Demon Deacons here. So Miami with 2 runners stranded. Wake Forest able to get out of it. Let's take a look now at the batting order for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Evan Stevens leads the team with a .369 batting average. He'll lead off at center field. Mark Ryan playing third base, batting second. Pat Blair, who's been a regular for Wake Forest for 4 consecutive years, is your shortstop, batting third. Matt Conway, your first baseman, batting fourth. Jack Carey, your DH. Grant Chambly, actually batting .400 now after 3-for-3 performance yesterday. Has not played a lot, but hitting like that, he'll continue to stay in there. Brett Armour also had 3 hits yesterday. He is your catcher. Andrew Williams is at second base, and Joey Rodriguez is your right fielder. They will not have an easy task today, though, as the pitcher for Miami, one of the best in the business, Brian Radzewski.
Brian Radzewski is a lefty that cannot throw a ball straight. In fact, he's been known on 3-0 counts, a classic fastball count, to throw sliders because it's his best pitch and the one that he can locate the best. He's caused all kinds of trouble for collegiate hitters this year. Radzewski's 8-1, and his ERA is, get this, .97. No, I didn't stutter. It's .97. You're doing well in college if your ERA is below 5. His is minuscule and one of the best in the country. So it's going to be a challenge for Wake Forest. They could be up to it. They did get a lot of base runners on yesterday against the Hurricanes that would just had trouble until late in the game pushing the runs across. And Tom Walter knows this is going to be a challenge, but they're going to have to take advantage of any base runner they get and to move them along.
Radzewski on the midseason Golden Spikes list as well. He was actually shut down last year with shoulder surgery after just 5 games, and he missed a couple of starts early on, still rehabbing. Of course, as a freshman, he was a freshman All-American, and as you've heard before, back and better than ever. His arm velocity, 86 to 88, sometimes 90 as well. 16 strikeouts against Virginia Tech. He's got some devastating pitches.
He does. He throws a cutter and a slider, but his fastball, even though he throws it 4 seams, it moves just like a small slider. And then, of course, a big breaking ball to go with it. And it's advantage for a pitcher if they can throw a ball that moves a lot because a hitter can't zero in on it. And look no further than the numbers. The numbers do not lie. Radzewski's been effective all year.
Defensively behind him from left to right in the outfield, Tyler Palmer, Dale Carey, and Chance Mack. Then David Thompson at third. Up the middle, very strong, the freshman Brandon Lopez and Alex Hernandez, as good as they come. Brad Fager is your first baseman, and Radzewski will be throwing to number 40, Garrett Kennedy, who slung one down to first base and picked off a Wake Forest Demon Deacon yesterday. So a good defensive catcher as Evan Stevens gets nestled in here to start the bottom of the first for Wake Forest.
Yeah, Kennedy is capable defensively, and that was a big pickoff in the game. The bases were loaded at the time, and he picked off his fellow catcher, Brett Armour, in the key situation last night. And Radzewski starts off with the strike right away.
85 miles per hour. Stevens, rough night yesterday, 0 for 4, including a big strikeout. Just went a little high. He even tried to bunt a runner over and couldn't advance the runner. So tough day for Evan Stevens. He's the kind of player, though, that can bounce back.
Well, he's always going to put the ball in play, and he runs well enough that he rarely slumps. He was fooled a bit on that pitch. It was a cutter outside, and he went a little bit too far and finds himself down in the count now, 1-2. That was the big breaking ball from Radzewski, and Stevens was able to get a piece of it. But Radzewski's got good pace, meaning he likes to get the ball, gets right back on the mound, and then go after the hitter. Wake Forest, it would do them well to try to break that rhythm if he seems to be settling into a groove.
Ooh, that one looked like it, and Stevens is not happy at all with that call. He even looks down to the batter's box.
Well, it looks to be a pitcher's zone, because this pitch caught the corner on the outside, and the on-plate umpire will dictate that during the game. And umpires do have different strike zones, but Jason Bradley says it's a strike, so it is, and you got to make the adjustments. But it's a slider on the outside part of the plate that just nipped the corner.
So that'll bring up Mark Rhine. Rhine, third baseman for Wake Forest. Takes it inside.
Radzewski reminds me a little bit of Charlie Liebrandt. If you remember the lefty for the Braves, for the longest time, he couldn't throw a ball straight either.
Just a lot of junk, right?
Yeah, but it's very hard to hit because you can't zero in on it, and it's very effective, particularly if they can locate. Radzewski tried to go to the backdoor slider there, meaning starting the pitch off the plate and then bring it back. Doesn't quite get back enough, and Mark Rhine finds himself now in a hitter's count. This is normally a fastball count.
Rhine has also batted at the bottom of the order quite a bit during the season. Described by Coach Tom Walter as the leader, vocally not a real flashy player, now settling into that 2 spot. One thing's about Radzewski, he's not afraid to throw some nasty stuff, even with 3 balls, believes in it. That one wasn't there, though.
No, a full count breaking ball. He's going for the strikeout. And as much breaking stuff as he throws, you figured he might have a lot of walks. He's got a strikeout to walk ratio of 4-1. That's just the 20th walk this year. He's got 81 punch-outs on the year. So he's always around the plate, but he throws a good breaking ball, and Ryan did a good job to lay off to get that base runner on. And we saw a number of times last night when Wake Forest got a runner on, they hit into a few double plays. And one of your most consistent hitters is the plate now, Pat Blair, who swings through that slider that broke towards his back foot. But you got a runner on ahead of your 3-hitter, and Pat Blair is one of the, in Tom Walter's words, one of the best Demon Deacons to ever come through this program, and that's high praise.
88th straight game for the mainstay, Pat Blair. Just pencil him in at shortstop, and Put him at that 3-hole, and away you go. Blair 1 for 2 yesterday with 2 base on balls, has a great eye, rarely strikes out.
But in a game like this, you know that the team that scores first is going to have an advantage because each pitcher doesn't give up a lot of runs. And so if you're the manager or coach, you're going to take more chances because you want to jump on top. So it might do well to start a runner. You're not going to do it on an 0-2 count now because this isn't a good count to run on. But you'll take some risks that you don't otherwise take because you have to try to push a run across to put pressure on the other team.
This one will drop as well, and
it's a good take by Blair. Ryan took that pitch on a 3-2 count, and Blair did so as well. As a hitter, to counteract Radzewski's breaking stuff, you want to let the ball get deep, closer to the catcher before you offer at it, as he jump throws over to first base to keep Ryan close. But you let the ball get back towards the catcher. You try to take the barrel of the bat to the inside half of the ball. That's the part of the ball that's closest to the hitter. And if you stay inside it, you got a good chance of hitting the breaking ball.
And he'll throw it right by Blair. 2 outs now for Wake Forest.
Blair not able to get a piece of this breaking ball. It was backdoor. And he swings through it. Blair, after he swung through it, turned around and asked Jason Bradley, would that have been a strike had I not swung at it? Not sure of the response, but that's a big league curveball right there because not only does it break across, it breaks down, and that gives it a smaller contact point, very hard to make contact with.
Here's Conway now. Has started every single game this season for Coach Walter, batting .343. Birmingham, Michigan. His brother Kevin, also a member of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons team, got in as a pinch hitter late in yesterday's 8-3 Miami win. We're at the Wake Forest Baseball Park. Dean Linke along with Scott Pose. They were forecasting some tough weather. I shouldn't even have mentioned it as some clouds are rolling in, but if it holds off, it really is a splendid afternoon here in Winston-Salem. Conway, and again the ball drops way down.
Well, a big hammer. That's the curveball coming through, and it's very hard to stay back because the ball looks so big, especially when it starts up in the zone. It's closer to the hitter's eye, but then the bottom just seems to fall off. There's a lot of terms that baseball people use for a curveball like that. They call it a 12-6 curveball, meaning if it started on a clock, it would start at 12 o'clock and move down to 6. It's a compliment if you tell a pitcher they got a curveball that drops off a table. So as a hitter, you're charged with making contact, and you've got to let that ball get deep and take the ball the other way. Radzewski's very deliberate with the runner at first base, meaning he has a slow pickup with his leg. If you're going to go first movement, it's off a pitcher like this. And that's something that Mark Ryan can take into account. Ryan has 5 stolen bases. He's been successful each time, which tells me he's very selective when he goes.
Radzewski with a 2-1 count.
2-1 count's a hit and run count as well because it's likely, a normal pitcher, you're going to get a fastball. I wouldn't count on it on a pitcher like Radzewski. But it is a typical hit and run count.
Wake Forest and Miami right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. And when you said Radzewski doesn't throw it straight, you weren't lying.
Yeah, he's throwing curveballs in the dirt here, and he doesn't, Conway doesn't offer at it. Nice block by Kennedy, but you want to make that curveball be up. And with that much break, you've got to gauge it and tell yourself as a hitter, okay, if it starts out at my waist or below, I'm laying off it because it's going to end up in the dirt. But something in my eyes or my letters, that's going to end up in the strike zone. I have a chance of making contact. It's a hard adjustment to make, but if you can make it, you could have some success.
And another walk here for Wake Forest, now with runners at first and second, 2 outs. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Jack Carey. Really come into his own this year. Had 1 home run coming into the season, leads the team with 6 this year, so big pop from the Maryland native.
Yeah, and righty on lefty, meaning the right-handed hitter will see the left-hander's ball really well, so expect some aggressive swings from Jack Carey.
32 RBIs. And that will curve over. Strike one. Miami now with the win yesterday, 33-18 on the season. Wake Forest at 26-24, 15-12 right here at the Wake Forest Baseball Park, Gene Hooks Field. This one will get behind him, and both players able to steal easily on the wild pitch.
And you'll see Tom Walter doing exactly what we mentioned before, is taking chances on the bases, trying to put pressure on the defense. And the base runner's red breaking ball there saw it, and they took off on the play.
So runners at second and third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Wake Forest left a ton of runners stranded yesterday. They would love, as you said earlier, Scott Pose, to get the first run here, get a little momentum going, just the way Miami did yesterday. As Miami never looked back, Wake Forest would like to do the same.
Well, a stat inside the game is the team that gets the most 2-out RBIs usually wins it. And it's a great opportunity here for the Demon Deacons and Jack Carey with 2 runners on with 2 out.
And a 2-1 count, roped up the middle, and Wake Forest with the first run of the game. They'll be trying for 2. No, Tom Walter will hold up the big man Conway, but it's 1-0 Wake Forest here in the bottom of the first.
Carey sized up that breaking ball and drives it right back through the middle. That was a good piece of hitting.
RBI number 33 right here.
Curveball hung in the zone, ended up starting out high above the letters and then breaking down in the zone. Carey stayed back nicely, drove it through the middle as it pushed Mark Ryan across. But how big was the stolen base? Because if there's runners at first and second, as shallow as it was hit, the runner didn't score from second on that play. And Wake Forest goes ahead 1-0.
Radzewski's only allowed 10 runs all season. 12 runs, rather. Allowed 12 runs all season. Now his 13th run. He had a .97 ERA going in, and Wake Forest already with a run here in the bottom of the first.
Now, Radzewski's only given up 7 earned runs all year. You can add 8 to the total. Opportunities have been few and far between for teams that he's pitched against, but Wake Forest capitalizes here in the first. And the inning's not over yet.
Grant Chambly now at 400.
He had 3 hits yesterday. He's a freshman out of Green Hope High School in Raleigh, North Carolina. Stepped up and performed very well.
18 hits and just 45 at bats, couple of doubles. No home runs, 9 RBIs. 15 runs. So he's got 18 hits and has scored 15 runs. That's pretty productive.
Well, that's great production. And you know, Tom Walter loves having somebody like that on the team that can step in and produce. And at such a young age, I mean, it's rare that freshmen can step in and play at a high Division I level, but we've seen a number of them here on the field today. A couple for Miami and now Chambly for Wake Forest.
So Wake Forest now with runners in first and third, and the solid hitting Chambly up there trying to give the Demon Deacons a couple more. 2-2 count. Runner going and fills the void right there as the second baseman moves over. What a great piece of hitting. Mack tries to get the runner going to third, and sliding in there safely is Jack Carey, and it's 2-0 Wake Forest. Chambly with an RBI, now batting over 400.
Well, he got a curveball on the outside part of the plate and hits it through the vacated hole because the runner had taken off. Conway is going to score on the play. Jack Carey was going on the pitch. He gets all the way to third base. J.D. Arteaga is going to come out and talk to his pitcher, Radzewski, who's, compared to the way he's done previously this year, is relatively snake bit because he hasn't run into trouble like this too often. His second earned run of the game, only his 9th earned run given up all year. But Wake Forest seems to have a good approach against him and has figured him out. Chambly did a good job to take that breaking ball the other way.
Chambly 3 for 3 yesterday. Another single here. And now is over that 400 mark. The true measure of a great hitter right there. When you get over 400, people start taking notice. And Chambly, it's going to be hard for Coach Walter to take Chambly out of the lineup the way he's swinging the bat.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, you stick with a hot hand, and the kid's swinging the bat very well.
Another hot hitter, Brett Armour. He was 3 for 4 yesterday. He had a run and an RBI. Part of 2 of the 3 runs for Wake Forest. They're leading now, Miami, 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. Oh, 0-1 count from Radzewski, who is feeling some pressure in the first. And again, the runner takes off. They'll try to stall long enough to get the run, and they do. So the third run, let's see if he's safe, and he's still safe. He got under the tag, avoiding the tag from Alex Hernandez, and they get the run. Yesterday, they could not get out of their own way. Today, Wake Forest up 3-0.
Well, Wake Forest taking some chances with runners at first and third and 2 out. Chambly's going to take off early, whether that's designed or not, but he was going to stop in the middle and force a rundown. That's an attempt. If the runner crosses before he gets tagged, Wake Forest is able to steal a run, but Chambly stays in the rundown, and then not only that, avoids the tag as he slides into second base. So it's going to go as 2 stolen bases on the play. Wake Forest steals the run on the pickoff, and now runners in scoring position. So that's the 3rd run pushed across for Wake Forest, and that's going to go as an earned run as well.
And that'll bring the designated hitter, still Brett Armour's up, rather. Armour with an 0-1 count. One-two pitch to Armour. Runner going again. But strike 3, and Radzewski gets out of it. But the damage is done. 3 runs on 2 hits. And some great base running as well. And after 1 inning, Wake Forest on top of Miami 3-0 right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices. And each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99? That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
The Wake Forest Demon Deacons desperate for several wins here if they have any shot at making the ACC tournament. Get 3 runs in the bottom of the first, and they're on top of Miami by a score of 3-0. You know, nothing gives you daily live action and analysis of ACC sports like the ACC Digital Network. Missed your game, want to share that amazing play or relive that must-see moment? Your team's highlights are available online, mobile, and tablet. All of the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Visit the ACCDN.com, and we thank you for being with us here on the ACC Digital Network. Last night it was Miami with an 8-3 victory, but Wake Forest on top 3-0. That's exactly what Miami did last night. They got 3 in the top of the first and never looked back. Let's see if Wake Forest can hold that lead. Is Stadler back out there, Scott?
Well, Stadler wants to get that shutdown inning, meaning put up a 0 after his team scores, but San Juan takes a pitch away and drives it into right field for the base hit. So the leadoff hitter answers in this inning for Miami as they come in and try to answer what Wake Forest did in the first inning. It was a pitch away, and San Juan stays inside it, drives it through the hole between first and second. It was good execution by him, and he's rewarded with the base hit.
San Juan 0 for 3 yesterday, so big hit for the designated hitter. That'll bring up Garrett Kennedy, the catcher. And we've got the lefty v lefty matchup. Kennedy 0 for 4 from the plate in yesterday's 8-3 win. And he'll rip this one down the line and fair. Definite double. Let's see how far he'll go. Standing up into second. Now he'll slide safely at second. Runners at second and third for Miami, and no outs as they look to match that 3 runs that Wake Forest just scored in the first.
Well, Kennedy got a fastball in and pulled his hands inside the ball nicely. Kept it fair down the right field line. It's just going to hit about 3 feet fair and bound into the corner. Right fielder Rodriguez is going to come up with it as we get a good look at Alex San Juan running around second base to third. Jim Morris is not going to take any chances early in the ball game, down 3 runs, so he keeps San Juan at third and Kennedy at second. So you have second and third with nobody out for none other than Brandon Lopez, who hit his first home run last night in the 9th inning.
We'll take a look at ball 1. Brandon Lopez telling me his parents watched the game last night from Miramar, Florida, and were texting him after the home run. Get to the shortstop, Blair. Blair deep in the hole, and a good scoop, good pickup by Conway for the out, but it'll plate a run. And Miami will get one back on the RBI from Lopez. It's now 3-1.
That was a heck of a play by Pat Blair, because the toughest play a shortstop can make is going to his right. Blair's going to go to his right, backhand and plant and throw a perfect strike over to Conway at first base. He shows good arm and gets the speedy Lopez. It's a fine play, and as fine a one as you'll see a college shortstop make.
So that'll bring center fielder Dale Carey. A lot of people feel like he's been around forever. Who can forget that highlight reel grab he had in the ACC tournament his freshman year? It was on Sports Center. Freakishly athletic is Carey. Struggling a little bit at the plate this year, so not always in that lineup, but an unbelievable athlete that shows flashes of brilliance, that has major league scouts, despite his average, looking at him all the time.
No, Carey's a tremendous athlete. No doubt about it. He's playing in the middle of the field where he could use his athleticism and run some balls down in center field. Jim Morris likes having him out there for his defense. Finds himself down in the count here, 0-2.
Batting 196 and a pretty good pickoff, but not on target. As Kennedy was able to get back. 1 out, Kennedy on second. RBI from the shortstop Lopez, and it's 3-1. Wake Forest on top with Carey in there. Talked to the Miami staff before the season. They anticipated him closer to being to 396 as opposed to 196, but just one of those seasons. Even thought he could be the leadoff hitter or number 2 hitter, but Carey batting 9th as he works through this slump. 1-2 to Carey. And they'll throw it right by him.
It was a changeup at 71 miles an hour that had Carey well out front. Changeup's the toughest pitch to hit in baseball, and Stadler threw him a great one because it has the look of a fastball because the pitcher throws it with the same arm speed, but it just never seems like the ball gets there when you want it to as a hitter. So you swing at the fastball, but then the ball comes across much later. and it throws off your timing, and it was a good pitch from Stadler.
Strike one from Stadler. Palmer, who had 4 home runs last year, none so far this year. At a .270 with 6 RBIs. Truly set the table yesterday, 3 for 4, 3 runs. Palmer, a transfer from Florida. And as Stadler starts to settle in here, Scott, you played several years in Major League, so you know all about the developments with the Tommy John surgery. But to sit the entire season out with Tommy John surgery and come back really bigger and stronger than ever, you're seeing that a lot these days.
Well, the strange thing is with the tendon that they take out of your wrist, they can put that in stronger than the one that God gave you. And so you'll see with all the rehab that you go through with that, you're strengthening the muscles around the elbow. Many pitchers come back throwing harder than they were pre-surgery. And it used to be that if you hurt an elbow, that was the end of your career, and they say you threw your arm out. Now, it's almost sometimes advantageous to have that surgery early, and pitchers reap the benefits. Now, nobody's doing it preemptively. I'm not at all suggesting that. But there have been many pitchers that have had that happen, say, in the minor leagues professionally, but then turned out to be great major league pitchers. One of them that comes to mind is Mariano Rivera. He had Tommy John surgery when he was in the minor leagues, and I'd say he's done all right for himself in the major leagues. But it's a routine surgery. I mean, the first player to have it done, of course, was Tommy John by Frank Jobe out in Los Angeles, California. And at the time, it was in the 70s. It was extremely experimental, and now it's become routine.
You mentioned his first game back from it, 9 strikeouts and 0 walks, and then over a month ago, 11 strikeouts against a very potent Georgia Tech team. So really nice season for Stadler. He took one off his foot against Virginia that bothered him just a little bit, but had a real big shiner from that, Scott Pose, but now his foot seems to be okay, and throwing strikes here today for Wake Forest. Blair again at shortstop, guns it over, and Miami gets one back here in the top of the second. After 1.5, it's Wake Forest 3 and Miami 1.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app. Live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Search ACC Sports on your mobile device.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices. And each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99? That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
Here at Wake Forest University, where the Wake Forest Demon Deacons lead Miami after 1.5 by a score of 3-1 right here on the ACC Digital Network. Remember, the NBA draft is a little more than a month away, so get geared up now by checking out the ACCDN.com to look back at some of the must-see moments by future NBA stars. Full draft coverage of the ACC and the pros on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Dean Linke along with Scott Pose, delighted to be with you here on what's turned out to be a really nice afternoon in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Projected some heavy rain, but let's hold off that rain and enjoy game 2 of a 3-game series. They'll play again tomorrow right here at the Wake Forest Baseball Park, Gene Hooks Field. Radzewski settles in against Andrew Williams, batting .258, 1 home run, 7 RBIs.
Well, Andrew Williams came in as a defensive replacement late in the ball game last night and hit a single and stole a base. So Tom Walters going with the hot hand again, puts Williams out there against the start. Gets to start against the tough lefty in Radzewski.
Williams from Augusta, Georgia. And he goes down. Radzewski with the strikeout.
Big curveball from Radzewski, starts on the middle of the plate and then breaks off. Very tough lefty on lefty. Williams swings right over the top, but that downward action when he has it down in the zone, very tough on the hitters.
3 strikeouts already for Radzewski as Joey Rodriguez to second base. 2 up, 2 down for Wake Forest, and Radzewski settling in after giving up 3 here in the first.
Well, that was a pitch in on the hands of Rodriguez. Sawed him off just a bit, and he hits that line drive up the middle, but then Hernandez is there for the Hurricanes and gobbles it up and makes the play.
Here's Evan Stevens, the leadoff hitter. Played quickly back to Radzewski, and 3 up, 3 down. Just a handful of pitches for Radzewski. And after 2 innings of play, the home team, Wake Forest, leads Miami 3-1 right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our create-your-own garden bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC flag is flowing smoothly here as Wake Forest on top of Miami by a score of 3-1 as Miami getting ready to bring their 2, 3, and 4 hitters to the plate. A reminder that the ACC Digital Network is fully interactive. You can follow us on Twitter at the ACCDN. Alex Hernandez, Chance Mack, and Brad Feger now coming to the plate for Miami. Chance Mack behind Hernandez with the hot bat, so if Hernandez can get on the way Mack has been hitting, 3 for 4 yesterday, a single already. Hernandez 1 for 5 yesterday. He lined out to center field his first time up here in the first inning. Stadler now with 24 strikes and 14 balls, 38 pitches, and what a great play. Nailed there by Mark Ryan, diving to his right, and Mark Ryan, the third baseman, with a big out for Miami as that was hit solidly by Hernandez.
So you wonder why they call the third base the hot corner, and this is why. Ryan's playing in, guard against the bunt, line drive right to him, and it's a quick reaction, but he dives to his right, makes the play. Can't do it any better than that. Well done by Ryan at third base.
Mack, who singled to center field in the first inning. As we mentioned, 3 for 4 yesterday, 2 runs and 2 RBIs, now batting .310 on the season. No home runs, just missed one yesterday, probably by about 4 feet off the right field wall. Now remember, here at the Wake Forest Baseball Park, it's a turf infield, turf outfield. Only dirt is on the mound where it goes right through Stadler. Second baseman will try to recover, and what a nice play as coming over to make the play, Andrew Williams.
That was an outstanding play by the Wake Forest infield. The ball just got by the mound in Stadler, and then Mack, who runs well, is going to force Williams to get rid of this ball quickly. He fields it on the run, but look at the stretch by Conway. Conway gets the ball, stays on the base, and at 6'7", that's such an advantage for those infielders because he can make stretches like that and stay on the base. First base umpire Timothy O'Toole is saying he stayed on the base. Absolutely. He's all over the call because that's what he's looking for on a play like that. And when a guy's 6'7", you can see that pretty easily. But a fine play on both ends defensively for the Demon Deacons. Well done.
Super job, Williams to Conway. And remember now, Conway can also pitch, so he's a very agile, nimble 6'7", and showed it there with the stretch. And 2 big outs here for Stadler as we start the top of the third. This one hit down the right field line, just in front of the warning track and handled there by Joey Rodriguez. 3 up and 3 down. Batters 2, 3, and 4 sit down for Miami. And after 2.5, it's Wake Forest 3 and Miami 1 from Winston-Salem.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app. Live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Search ACC Sports on your mobile device.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
Here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where the Wake Forest Demon Deacons lead the Miami Hurricanes 3-1, and they'll bring batters 2, 3, and 4 to the plate here in the bottom of the third. Nothing gives you daily live action and analysis of ACC sports like the ACC Digital Network. Missed your game? Want to share that amazing play or relive that must-see moment? Your team's highlights are available online, mobile, and tablet, all on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by the good folks from Ruby Tuesday. Visit the ACCDN.com. Mark Ryan now getting ready to face Radzewski. Radzewski with 39 pitches so far, 23 of them strikes. Almost all 39 have been of the curve variety. As Scott Pose told us early on, he does not throw the ball straight, a lot of junk.
He's lived up to his billing. Wake Forest has made some adjustments. They put 3 runs on him early, and he's pitching from a spot he's not accustomed to, and that's from behind.
Radzewski's allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Ryan tried that drag bunt to put the ball down, and when you're facing a tough pitcher, you'll do anything to get on base, and Ryan just swung right through that or pushed the bat by it. It's going to go as a strike.
Ryan with 3 home runs, 24 RBIs. 1 for 5 yesterday, had a first inning walk. He scored the first run for Wake Forest.
It's a good take by Ryan. That was a curveball down and in, but he's able to lay off because the pitch had a lot of break on it.
And a strikeout for Ryan.
It's a tough curveball right there to try to make contact with, but Ryan ends up swinging over the top.
Miami's now 30-6 all time in this series between Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons were able to defeat Miami 7-2 last season, but the Hurricanes took 2 of 3 in Coral Gables. They also beat them in the ACC tournament. Here is Mr. Wake Forest, Pat Blair. Struck out in the first, a rare strikeout for Blair. Wake Forest's only sweep on the ACC season was against Boston College, April 20th through 21st. Pat Blair, part of the 200 club. 200 hit club, that is. Did it back on March 30th with a 2-for-3 performance at Georgia Tech. He's the 24th player in Wake Forest history to have 200 hits over the course of his career. Corey Sullivan actually was able to do it in just 2 years at Wake Forest. .223 hits now for Blair, and after the strikeout in the first, he'll walk. And with 1 out, Wake Forest has 1 on, and Conway with that great defensive play in the top of this inning now comes to the plate.
Well, Wake Forest and Blair works his walk, and that's the 3rd walk of the game earned by the Demon Deacons. And now you have a runner at first with the powerful Matt Conway at the plate. He's capable of hitting a double, easily can drive a run in from first, but he's not going to have a chance here because Blair is picked off. He was caught leaning, and Radzewski had the quick move over there and caught Blair in no man's land. He's trying to guess, and he's looking to see if Radzewski's going to go to the plate, but he was caught because he thought that Radzewski had committed to going home. But Radzewski had not, got the ball over there and picked him off.
Good play by Thompson. He'll make the long throw. And after the pickoff from Blair with that walk, just 3 batters and 3 outs, and Wake Forest now after 3 innings lead Miami 3-1 right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices. And each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99? That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Pretty nice afternoon here in Winston-Salem, and the home team, Wake Forest, on top of Miami by a score of 3-1. Dean Linke, along with former Major Leaguer Scott Pose, delighted to be with you for Game 2 of a 3-game series. Yesterday it was Miami getting off to 3 runs in the first inning en route to an 8-3 victory. Today, Wake Forest with 3 in the bottom of the first. Miami got 1 back in the second, and that's where we are now as Stadler settles in against David Thompson, who had a big, big day yesterday. 3 RBIs, including a 2-run homer in the first.
Thompson has been swinging a hot bat. He did have the big night last night. He's hoping it can carry over to today, but he hits a changeup off the end of the bat. It's going to go foul as Matt Conway picks it up in foul territory. We're lucky to be here, Dean. It's a beautiful stadium, beautiful field and facilities. I mean, Wake Forest has done a lot to upgrade this ballpark, putting the turf in and the field, and they're sinking a lot of money into the school too, because a new business school is slated to open this fall, as well as a couple new dorms and a dining hall. And They're going to put a health and recreation center in down the road, so there's some big things going on here at Wake Forest University. But what a great facility to play baseball in.
Great facility, wonderful people as well, including Coach Tom Walter, settling in now in his 4th season. Thompson facing a 1-2 count. His 4th home run yesterday, and gets nicked, so he'll head to first.
The leadoff batter is aboard because he was hit by that pitch. Now, wasn't hit hard, but you could hear it. Jason Bradley heard it. He heard that tip. It's going to tip his leg or his knee, and that's what it was, the uniform knee. We could see the uniform pants just with a little bit of a ripple as the ball went by, and Thompson's going to be rewarded first base as a result. San Juan takes a strike with the runner at first, and San Juan singled in the 2nd inning in his first at bat right through the hole that's created with the runner at first base because Conway, the first baseman, has to hold the runner on.
Singled and scored a run. Now batting .286, has 1 dinger with 18 RBIs. 3-1 Wake Forest. Stadler right at the 50 pitch count here as we start the 4th inning, and San Juan now 2 for 2. Hoping to advance the runner to third, a long throw, and he'll come in standing up. Now San Juan in a bit of a trouble here, and he is out at second trying to push it. So now with a man at third, San Juan gets picked off at second base and 1 out.
Well, Miami's going to be aggressive on the bases. Thompson's at first. It's going to be a base hit on a pitch up, almost in San Juan's eyes, and he drives it to center field or right field. The right fielder is going to come in and airmail the ball. That is, Rodriguez misses the cutoff man. San Juan sees it and takes off on the play. Normally that's not bad base running because base runners are instructed when an outfielder misses the cutoff man to continue to advance, but it's going to go as a 9-5 to 6 put out because it went to the third baseman, Ryan, who came back and got it to second base for the tag.
So that'll leave Garrett Kennedy with a runner at third. Now 1 out. Kennedy doubled to right field in the 2nd inning. Now batting .264. Kennedy, the left-handed catcher for the Hurricanes. 2-0 count, way high. .432 on base percentage coming into this, was the best on the team. As coming into the series, had 23 walks and 17 strikeouts. That's pretty good for a catcher.
Well, it's good for anybody to have more walks than strikeouts, and Kennedy's going to add to that total.
There's Brandon Lopez, who knocked his first home run of his career out in the top of the 9th yesterday, the 8th and final run for Miami. Told me before the game he hit a ton of home runs before coming to Miami, obviously, so he's looking forward to get that first one. And he wasn't quite sure, though. He said he was running as fast as he possibly could when he hit it, and it snuck out, a little bit of wind blowing out to left field.
Yeah, but it's always a relief to get that goose egg off of the column on the score sheet, or at least on your line, and be able to put a solid number in there. But Lopez gets that first one out of the way, and he was pretty ecstatic about doing so. He couldn't stop grinning when he was running around the bases, and even when he took the field after the fact. I can't blame him.
Yeah, he was still smiling. Ranked the 12th best freshman by Baseball America coming into this, drafted in the 34th round by the Toronto Blue Jays. Up the middle with Hernandez. They are absolutely fantastic defensively, and Brandon Lopez has got good size as well. Stand next to him. You're looking up to him. He's
a tall
about
kid.
6'2", yeah.
He's going to fill out too. He's a little bit lanky, but some are projecting him to be a third baseman in the future if he continues to play on.
Three, one out. Man on third, man on first. Lopez batting 8th. And a base hit and RBI for Lopez as Miami pulls one back, and it's 3-2. And a solid piece of hitting by the freshman Lopez, who's having himself a nice weekend.
Well, with one out, Lopez got a pitch. It looked to be in, but he fought it off and then drives it in the hole between first and second. That's just great hitting, staying inside the ball and continuing the merry-go-round for Miami. It's a well-placed ball. And now runners are at first and second for Dale Carey.
The freshman Lopez plates the freshman Thompson. Still just one out. Carey now, though, could be a double play. Williams on his own. And Carey hits into the double play, but nonetheless, Miami pulls one back. And after 3.5, it's Wake Forest 3, Miami 2. And you're seeing it all right here on the ACC Digital Network.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app, live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Search ACC Sports on your mobile device.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices. And each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99? That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
Bottom of the fourth here in Winston-Salem, the Wake Forest Baseball Park, and Wake Forest on top 3-2 in a very competitive Atlantic Coast Conference as they gear up for the ACC tournament in just a couple weeks at the Durham Bulls ballpark. And as you see, Wake Forest ACC champions, they may not get in, but the ACC is strong as any conference in the country.
Oh, without a doubt. Here's the Atlantic Division, and Florida State, who's playing NC State right now, as a matter of fact, in a key series this weekend. But you've got Clemson and Maryland, and that's the Atlantic Division. But in the Coastal Division, they are beating up on each other because in that Coastal side, you have North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Miami. The top 5 in this division are projected to get into the conference tournament. But listen to this, Dean. They're projecting right now that every school that gets into the ACC tournament, no matter how they do, is going to get in the NCAA tournament. That is strong because there are some conferences in the country that are hoping to get 1, maybe 2 teams in. Every school from the ACC right now is projected that gets in the tournament to get in the NCAA tournament.
That is strong, as you said, is some of them only getting their winner going to the NCAA tournament. So,
well, their RPI is going through the roof just playing in conference play. And with the high RPIs, because of the strong ACC conference play, relative to the nation, that puts some of the best baseball right here in the Southeast.
There's Jack Carey, who had that big-time walk-off hit against UNC. And a big win over Carolina. He's also had some home runs late in games. Without question, Coach Walter's most clutch hitter on the season, and 6 home runs as well. Single to center field. He's got an RBI and a run, the 3rd run for Wake Forest. Doesn't bite, count 2-2. We talked a little pitch count yesterday, Scott, and with Radzewski, with throwing so much junk, does it change at all, like how long he can go?
No, the way he throws is that he doesn't turn his wrist over too much on his breaking ball, as he throws a curveball up in the zone, and Jack Carey is going to drive that into right field for a leadoff single. It's a breaking ball up in the zone, and when the ball's up in the zone, especially to a right-hander, it looks big, and he stays back nicely to drive it into right field. But to get back to your question, Dean, when he throws, he doesn't put too much torque on his elbow to get that break on his pitches. It's just the way his natural motion is. And when they're throwing once a week, that is college pitchers, coaches will have a longer leash on pitchers and their pitch count.
Here's Grant Chambly, 3 for 3 yesterday, 1 for 1 on the day. Almost impossible to get out right now as he's batting .413 on the season, and when he gets on, he scores runs. 19 hits, 15 runs.
Another pick by Radzewski, trying to keep Carey close. And Tom Walter has shown that he's willing to start the runners and potentially hit and run as well. But with that tone set, Radzewski and the Hurricanes are going to make sure that runners are held close.
Down the bunt is Chambly. And he will advance the runner.
It will go as a sacrifice, since Chambly gave himself up, got the ball down in front of home plate, and deadened it enough that the only play for Radzewski was to go to first base. It was well executed by Chambly, and he seems to be doing everything so well. There's very few things he can't do right now. And Chambly gets the bunt down, and that helps his teammates out, because now there's a runner at second, and two hitters are going to have a crack at driving that run in, who is Carey at second base.
Here's Brett Armour, struck out in the first inning and lined to Thompson.
Oh, that's frustrating as a hitter, because Armour hits the ball on the nose, gets a fastball, I think, and one of the rare ones from Radzewski in this game. And Armour squared it up, but hits it right at Thompson at third base. Hot line drive hit chest high right to Thompson. He makes the play fairly easily.
Here's Andrew Williams, who ended Miami's last inning with the double play. He struck out in the second. He's batting .254. He's got 1 home run, 7 RBIs. Bottom of the fourth, Wake Forest still hanging on to a 1-run lead. They got 3 in the first. Miami able to get 2 back here. Miami getting 1 in the second and 1 in the fourth. Radzewski paints the corner, and Andrew Williams with his second strikeout. And after 4 innings of play, it's Wake Forest 3 and Miami 2. As Wake Forest able to jump out to an early 3-0 lead and taking advantage in the first inning. Here's Coach Tom Walter. Really nice start to this ball game, Coach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Always good to come out and jump out on top. We had great 2-out at-bats. Grant Chambly, Jack Carey, 2-out RBIs, and then good base running play there to get the 3rd run.
Hey, Coach, with this good start, what did you tell your hitters before the game when you're facing a talented lefty like Brian Radzewski from Miami?
Well, you've got to be patient with him. I mean, he's got really good stuff. He's got 3 good pitches. He'll throw it any time. He knows how to pitch. He moves it around, changes speed. So you've got to be patient until you get something up in the zone.
Finally, Coach, the emergence of Grant Chambly, now 4 for 4, lays down that sacrifice. Everything he's doing right now is perfect.
Yeah, he's been that way all year. Shambo, wasn't swinging it real well early in the year, but, really since the midpoint on, he's been doing a great job for us.
Coach, thanks for all you do. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Coach Tom Walter, the top man for Wake Forest and one of the all time good guys that you'll ever come across in baseball, Scott.
Without a doubt, what he's done for, his kids, his team, and what he's doing here at Wake Forest University. He's a class guy, and you won't find a better one in baseball.
Everybody knows he donated his kidney to one of his players, Kevin Jordan. So now Tyler Palmer, the leadoff hitter for Miami, who had such a big day yesterday. Got on 3 times and scored 3 of the 8 runs for Miami. He is 0 for 2 today, though, now batting .267. First pitch sent into right. And no problem for Joey Rodriguez. 1 up, 1 down, 1 pitch.
Yeah, Austin Stadler will take that all day. 1 pitch, 1 out. It's very efficient use of pitches, but he threw the fastball away, and Palmer drives it into the sun field. Rodriguez fighting that sun because you can see it lights up his sunglasses as he goes over to make the play, but he corrals it fairly easily.
That brings up Alexander Hernandez, the fine second baseman. He's 0 for 2, lined out to center field in the first and hit a screamer to the third baseman in the third, and this one should fall in. It's deep in the hole. Blair will run it down, but a nice piece of hitting there by Hernandez as they are attacking Stadler.
It's the old Baltimore chop that's termed from the ball hitting out in front of home plate and then bounds over the infielders' heads. And with this turf and the breaking ball down, so Hernandez hits it down hard into the ground, and it bounds over Ryan at third base. Now the shortstop Blair is able to get over and stop the ball, but not before Hernandez gets to first base with the single.
Now Chance Mack and his hefty .309 batting average. Singled the center in the first inning. That followed up a 3 for 4, 2-run, 2 RBI performance yesterday. Talked about the strength of the ACC. Miami, unbelievably on the bottom, but ranked 17th in the nation coming in here with the latest rating RPI, as you talked about. They have 8 wins against teams ranked in the top 20 RPI and have 10 wins against top 50 RPI teams.
Well, you're going to get that opportunity when you play in the ACC because so many conference games are against ranked opponents. And it tends to snowball for your RPI. A lot of ACC teams are benefiting from that right now.
Mack now 0-2. Steps out of the batter's box. And he is not in a hurry to get back in there. Wake Forest with some action in the bullpen. Way high to Mack as Stadler will waste one.
That's his 65th pitch of the day. Got a righty warming up in the pen behind Stadler.
Blair quickly to Williams, and another great stretch over there by Conway, and he does ring him up, and Miami will go down here in the top of the 5th with Wake Forest still leading by a score of 3-2, and really fine job defensively, particularly from the big first baseman for Wake Forest.
Oh, outstanding play with the 6-4-3 double play and the turn, rather blind throw from Williams onto Conway at first, but Wake Forest getting that double play against a very speedy runner. Great defense by the Demon Deacons.
Now joined by the fine head coach of Miami, Jim Morris. Jim, let's first talk about your pitcher, Brian Radzewski. He only gave up 7 earned runs coming into this. What do you tell a pitcher that gets rocked a little bit there in the first?
Well, he started out a little slow. He walked 3 guys, so they got him in trouble a little bit. It's not that he got hit hard. He just had trouble locating, and if you get to him normally as a guy, you got to get to him early.
Well, Coach, when you're facing a pitcher like Stadler who has a good changeup, what are you telling your hitters, and what adjustments are they going to need to make at the plate?
Well, you got to stay back, of course, but you know, he is a good pitcher. You got to be able to make adjustments, and you got to stay back, look at certain situations, certain pitches, but you got to be very selective.
Finally, Coach, we're talking about the quality of the Atlantic Coast Conference, thinking all 8 teams that get to the tournament will make the NCAA tournament. How tough is this conference?
Well, it's a great conference because every weekend, it's a battle, and from top to bottom.
All right, Coach, thank you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, Coach Morris talking about those free passes that Radzewski gave up, and they can always come back to bite you. But when you have runners on, even if somebody finds a way to get a base hit, that puts pressure on your defense, and it can be a thorn in the side of a pitcher. J.D. Arteaga loves it when his pitchers get out front, but free passes can come back to bite you, and I think you hear that refrain from Coach Morris when you talk to him and why Radzewski got down, giving up those 3 earned runs. Credit Wake Forest for forcing him to work and taking advantage. And we didn't see them take advantage last night, but they do so today, and the Deacons find themselves on top 3-2 here going into the 5th inning.
Coach Morris is absolutely right. He certainly didn't get rocked with those walks. As Radzewski, not the kind of pitcher that ever gets rocked. I mean, he's just solid, as we mentioned, on the Golden Spikes list, and he really is settling in here now. 64 pitches, though. As a batter, when you're facing a guy like this that you know you're not going to see a whole lot of fastballs, do you change anything?
Well, you make the adjustment of making the ball get deep. The biggest problem you have is staying back on a pitcher like this. And so instead of when you're facing somebody that throws 95 miles an hour and you think you have to be quick, you're telling yourself stay back, and try to take the ball the other way. That doesn't mean you're going to hit the ball the other way, but it forces you to see the ball longer and then stay back so you're not hitting it out front and pounding the ball on the ground. Radzewski's going to pride himself on getting strikeouts on balls down and then getting ground balls. But if you can stay back long enough, you can hit line drives the other way and hit the ball up the middle. So that's the approach I would take facing a tough left-handed pitcher.
Big rip by Rodriguez, who grounded out in the 2nd inning. Rodriguez, who started in center field against Elon a couple games ago. Today playing right field. And strikes out swinging.
Oh, big curveball from Radzewski that started off the plate, then comes back. That downward break, it's tough for the hitters to make that adjustment or make contact, but see the big sweeping breaker that breaks down, and Rodriguez swings through it.
That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Evan Stevens, who struck out in the 1st and grounded out in the 2nd. This after going 0 for 4 yesterday. Stevens, though, with an impressive .365 batting average. Second only to Chambly. And this one bunted right back to the pitcher. No problem for Radzewski, and an easy out. 2 outs.
Stevens didn't mean to bunt that back to the pitcher, but when you do, it's pretty much an easy out. Now, Radzewski got off the mound and threw on the run, but he makes the play. When you're bunting for a base hit, he's trying to bring that ball with him, but the ball hits on the ground and then sprays right back to Radzewski, who fielded the ball and then threw it on the run. I don't think Coach Morris would advise it, but the play was made, and Radzewski got the ball to Feger before Stevens could get there. So it goes as the 2nd out of this 5th inning.
So Mark Ryan steps in here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. He walked in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. Batting .268 for the season. 0-2 is Radzewski getting stronger as he rolls on here, top of the 5th. Miami's been able to make up 2 of the 3 runs they gave away to Wake Forest in the 1st inning. It's 3-2, Demon Deacons. And Radzewski We had the assist on the second out. We'll get the assist on the third out. And after 5 from Winston-Salem, it's the Wake Forest Demon Deacons 3 and the Miami Hurricanes 2. And you're watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Radusky settling in.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our create-your-own garden bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
We told you when we started here from Winston-Salem, they were projecting some weather. The clouds are over the horizon, though, and we are hoping not to get a drop here. The NBA draft is a little more than a month away, so get geared up now by checking out the ACCDN.com to look back at some of the must-see moments by future NBA stars. Full draft coverage of the ACC and the pros on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Brad Feger, first baseman for Miami. Got hit by a pitch in the first inning, flew out to right in the third. Feger to Blair. Blair steps in. No problem for Conway. Throw it anywhere close to the big man, and you know he's going to get it. One down, one up, one down for Miami.
Well, a changeup away, and Feger rolls over it and hits it right to the capable shortstop, Blair, for Wake Forest, who throws it across to Mike Conway, who makes the play. Or Matt Conway makes the play, excuse me. But what an advantage it is for outfielders to, or infielders to have a 6'7" first baseman over there, because it's tough to throw the ball away and he can scoop everything out. Conway's an asset, and Blair makes all the plays. That one he made look easy.
Thompson took a look at the first pitch here from Stadler. Thompson with that big 2-run homer to start things off for Miami yesterday in the top of the first, as Miami did what Wake Forest has done here today. They got 3 runs in the first inning. His 4th home run of the 2013 campaign. Stadler, and ripped by Thompson down the left field line all the way to the wall. He'll round first, heading to second. Long throw from the outfield, and Thompson continues to rip it here in Winston-Salem.
Well, he got a fastball in the inner half of the plate, and he drives it to left field. That's down the middle, but he drives it in. Because it hits off the pad, it stays close to the wall. If that hits the brick, it bounds right back to Shamblin, and he has a chance of holding Thompson to a single. But because it hits the pad, it stayed up against, and that affords Thompson enough time to get into second base with the slide. And now Miami has the tying run at second base with just 1 out.
Thompson, who's already got a run scored, is Alec San Juan, who's 2 for 2, and he also has scored a run. The designated hitter. It's been effective for Jim Morris today. This one hit to the third baseman, though. Thompson's going to go ahead and go for it, and Conway doesn't throw it as Blair comes over to cover third.
Matt Conway's not going to take the chance of throwing the ball away. Thompson waited until the third baseman, Ryan, who had left his position to make the play. And he left second base and takes advantage and gets 90 feet closer to home plate. But then Ryan had made the play and retires San Juan. So there's 2 outs in the inning. Bringing up Garrett Kennedy.
So Kennedy, who doubled to right field in the second, walked in the fourth. So 8 RBIs on the season. Would love number 9, and it would tie the score here in Winston-Salem with 2 outs. 0-1 count from Stadler's, now thrown 74 pitches.
Time was taken by Garrett Kennedy. He steps out and gathers himself. Another good breaking ball from Stadler. Kennedy swings right through it. Stadler seems to be getting stronger as the game's going on, but that's a good pitch, good downward break. And now Stadler works ahead. 0-2.
Wind picking up here a little bit, straight out to right field.
That's a fastball up, and that's just a purpose pitch. One that the pitcher uses to change the eye level of the hitter. Stadler's up 0-2 in the count, so he's going to throw his fastball up to speed the hitter's eyes up to get him used to that fastball, and then most likely come back with a breaking pitch down.
As if he's seen it before, right on cue from Scott Pose. Kennedy goes down, and Miami will strand a runner at third. Wake Forest hangs on to that 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th here at the Wake Forest Baseball Park. A big strikeout for Stadler.
ACC Mobile app, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app. Live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Search ACC Sports on your mobile device.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
Looking at downtown Winston-Salem as we are here on the ACC Digital Network for ACC Baseball, and the home team, Wake Forest, leads Miami by a score of 3-2. A reminder that the ACC Digital Network is fully interactive. You can follow us on Twitter at the ACCDN.com. Nice crowd here on a Saturday afternoon enjoying some college baseball. As Wake Forest trying to come back after losing to Miami by a score of 8-3 yesterday. Dean Linke, along with Scott Pose, who knows all about the love of the game, was actually in the movie for the love of the game with Kevin Costner. That's pretty exciting.
Well, it was at the time, and it was one of those fluke deals. I tell everybody that I got to do what I always did for a while, and that was pretend to be a baseball player. And I got to do that in the movie. It was a lot of fun, and interestingly enough, Associate Athletic Director of Wake Forest University, Mike Buddy, who is here today, was in that movie as well.
That is fantastic. It is definitely on my bucket list now to make sure I go back and watch that movie for sure, as Scott Pose did a lot more than just pretend to be a baseball player, had much more than a cup of coffee in the major leagues. Great player at Arkansas, and was an inaugural member of that Marlins team. First official batter for the Marlins, some time with the Yankees. Great season with the Royals. And as you said, Scott, playing baseball for a living at any level, single, double, triple A, and a lot of these players aspire to do the same thing. It's a dream come true.
Oh, absolutely. It's an absolute thrill to be associated with a game, as Radzewski throws another breaking ball, and he's getting stronger as the game goes on as well, and he gets this strikeout. Big break on this breaking ball, and Blair, one of the most consistent hitters on the Wake Forest team, can't deal with it. That ball's just breaking straight down across the plate. Radzewski is throwing a lot of breaking stuff as billed, but that one is about as good as it can get with 2 strikes.
And now with 8 strikeouts against 3 walks is Radzewski, and not even through 6 with the 8 strikeouts. Giving up 3 earned runs, though. As Coach Jim Morris said, those walks were costly in the first inning. Only gave up 2 hits against those 3 runs in that first inning. Here's Conway. He walked in the first, grounded out in the third. Now batting .341, 34 RBIs. And Radzewski hung one up there. Conway was waiting on it, but Mack able to get over to it. Radzewski wasn't happy on the rip, but that ball kind of hung a little bit for Mack.
Yeah, Radzewski was unhappy with his location because the ball's up against a power hitter in Matt Conway. This ball's up in his eyes. It doesn't break as well, so Conway drives it into right center field, but Chance Mack has great closing speed, takes a good angle, and gets right to that baseball. Good play by the Miami right fielder. Conway squared that up pretty well. It's one of the hardest hit balls we've seen off Radzewski today.
Carey 2 for 2 on the afternoon against Radzewski.
The 2-0 count now as Radzewski falls behind Carey after getting 2 quick outs in the inning.
Carey with a run and an RBI, part of 2 of the 3 runs for Wake Forest.
2-0 typically a fastball count, but not when Brian Radzewski's on the mound. He's going to throw a breaking ball across for a strike.
And 3 for 3. Single to left for Carey, and the ball looking like a watermelon on Saturday afternoon for Carey.
Jack Carey gets a cut fastball on the inside part of the plate. Gets some extension and drives that into left field for a solid base hit. Good piece of hitting, and he's obviously seeing the ball really well off of Radzewski.
So with 2 outs, the 2-out rally with Grant Chambly, who's 4 for 4 in his last 5 at-bats, and he's now 5 for 5 in his last 6 at-bats.
Chambly continues to see the ball well and drives this ball into right center field or right field for a solid base hit. I'd say he's in the zone. Ball gets right through the hole at first and second. And now Wake Forest has the makings of a rally with 2 outs.
Brett Armour, big day yesterday in the loss, 3 for 4 with a run and an RBI. Steps in here with a 2-out rally going for Wake Forest. Hits from Carey and Chambly in front of him. Armour, the runner in scoring position in 2 outs, would like to get a bigger pad for Wake Forest. They had a 3-run pad. Miami is able to wrestle 2 back, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, to answer the 3 runs by Wake Forest in the first inning. As Jim Morris, what a great man, telling me before the game, I asked him, are there any particular players that he definitely keeps in touch with? He said he told me that every single player that's ever played for them on their birthday, he will reach out to them with either a phone call or a text. Are you kidding me?
How about that?
He says he does keep in pretty good contact with some pretty big names. Ryan Braun, who starred for him at Miami. And then how about Nomar Garcia-Parra, who played for him at Georgia Tech?
Nomar.
I know you played against Nomar.
I did, coming up in the minors, and then he was in Boston when I was in Kansas City and New York, as a matter of fact. But, man, what a good hitter he was, and good player he was.
You actually got to pitch against Nomar.
I did once. I did, but Nomar's a great hitter.
Here's Armour. Thompson Tag out Carey, and that'll end the 2-out rally from Wake Forest. They still lead by 1 over Miami as we're having some fun here in Winston-Salem as Radzewski, the left-hander with an unbelievable ERA coming in, able to get out of that 2-out rally, but they still trail Wake Forest by a score of 3-2.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices. And each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99? That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
When you think Wake Forest, you think institutions, and what a better institution than Krispy Kreme, which was founded here. Good, Scott.
Yeah, fat-free, no calories, of course, and how good are those donuts?
They are unbelievable. I was half expecting a couple buckets of donuts rolling up here. We got to work on that with Kelly Heddleson and the crew.
Yeah, I thought you might have more pull than that, Dean. Let's go. Let's get to work on it.
Wake Forest 3, Miami 2. Is now batting Brandon Lopez, who's now had his 4th career multi-RBI game. Singled to right field in the 4th. Lopez with both RBIs for Miami. And this is your number 8 hitter, so Lopez starting to zone in, as we just talked about. The big home run yesterday, his first in his career. Highly decorated freshman coming in, drafted by the Blue Jays. Great kid. Counts 2-2.
That was a good pitch from Stadler to even the count. That was a sinker that moved away from Lopez. It caught the outside part of the plate. Now it's a full count. This will be an action ball, meaning something's got to happen on the 3-2 pitch. If you're Lopez, you're hoping for base hitter ball 4. If you're Stadler, you think throw a good low strike, force contact, let your defense work for you.
Has cooled down considerably since the 4 o'clock start, and another hit for Lopez. Ooh, they'll try to get him out at first, and Lopez knew that was coming. Good backup by the catcher, Armour, as Rodriguez was trying to gun him down, but even too tall for Conway.
Well, Lopez is running down the line and has a good look at the hit going through the hole, but then he can also see Rodriguez, who likes to throw the ball, coming up quickly. When you see that as a hitter, you know that you've got to run through the base. Lopez does. And Rodriguez uncorks a throw that goes high, and you've got to throw it real high to get it over Conway. He's 6'7" at first, and I think we've seen the first ball that could get by him.
Carey squared to bunts, and Stadler decided to throw a ball.
Rodriguez has thrown 2 balls high in this ball game. He was fortunate on the first one, as they were able to retire San Juan at second base, but again throws one high here. No worse for the wear because Lopez doesn't advance past first.
Carey squared to bunt. That pitch looked pretty good, but called a ball. 2-0 on Carey, who has struggled at the plate this year, to say the least, batting .193. He is a highlight reel center fielder. He'll square again. And he just barely got a piece of that. And when the bunts start causing you trouble, then it's a little bit of a confidence issue as well.
Well, it's a big confidence issue, and some of the best ways to get out of a skid is to bunt some balls. But if you can't see the ball to hit, sometimes it's just as difficult to see the ball to bunt. And Jim Morris is flashing through the signs, and late in the ball game with the runner at first, he's going to elect, especially at the bottom of the order, to try to bunt the runner over. Now it's a 3-1 count, and sometimes coaches take that bunt off and resort to the hit and run because it's going to be a 3-1 fastball. But nope, Carey's going to turn around and bunt.
Laid down, and he will indeed advance the runner. And that was the plan going in, and it's executed.
Well, it's a textbook bunt, and a nice job by Carey to get it done, because with a runner at first base, you're trying to bunt the ball down the first baseline to force the first baseman, Conway, to vacate his position. And it's a very tough play for a first baseman to throw the ball to second base and get that runner. So Stadler, the pitcher, ends up making the play, and Wake Forest gets the out, but not before Miami gets the tying run to second base. And with that, Tom Walter is going to venture to the mound, and it looks like there's going to be a pitching change at this juncture. And it is. They're going to call for the right-hander down from the Wake Forest bullpen.
And while they do that, as you look up over the horizon, you can feel the air cooling down here as well. As the new pitcher coming in, it's going to be Jack Fisher. But you can feel some weather coming in now, though, Scott.
Yeah, the temperature's dropped maybe 5 to 10 degrees just as it's come in. So the cold front is moving through, and may need the lights here before too long because it's gotten considerably darker as well.
So there's Jack Fisher. He's from Hinsdale, Illinois. Started a lot at the end of last year. In fact, probably was Coach Tom Walter's best starter at the end of last year. He pitched the game that clinched a spot in the ACC tournament, and it was the only game they won in the ACC tournament as well. And he had one bad outing this year early on and really has never recovered from it, and has gone to the bullpen. He also can come in as a backup shortstop as well, but Jack Fisher now into the game. In fact, that's really what led him to be a pitcher, as he came in as a backup shortstop, looked over there and saw Pat Blair and was like, well, wait a second, I'm not going to get to play here, so decided to concentrate on pitching.
He's got a good arm. He can run at 90 to 92 miles an hour, and he'll sink it and work in a breaking ball with that. And with Tyler Palmer, the righty, coming up, Tom Walter electing to play the percentages and go righty on righty.
2-3, 5.58 ERA. He's pitched 50 innings with 33 strikeouts. Dean Linke along with Scott Pose right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Top of the seventh, Wake Forest got 3 in the first. Miami with 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth. RBIs there from Brandon Lopez. And now Tyler Palmer, the leadoff batter, comes to the plate with a man on second and 1 out. Palmer with a chance to knock in the tying run. Facing the new pitcher, Fisher. And Fisher's first pitch, right down the middle, strike 1. Palmer 0 for 3 after 3 big hits yesterday and 3 runs. He struck out in the first, grounded out to short in the second, and flew out to the right fielder in the 6th. Inside of the plate, fans don't like it, but good call.
89-mile-an-hour sinker down and in to Tyler Palmer. He lays off, and now the count's even at 1-1.
Hernandez on deck. virtually the same place. 2-1 now. (3-2) Wake Forest. And Fisher has thrown 3 inside and tight, just off the plate. And after that first strike, 3-1.
Not able to get the call, and now it's a hitter's count and 3-1.
Palmer and Ryan able to get the out without the runner advancing, and that is a big out for Wake Forest.
Fisher came back and got the play through the sinker down, and the ball is pounded into the ground for the high hop. Ryan had to wait back on it, but has a strong arm and makes the throw after he makes the play. But also that kept Lopez at second base.
So that brings up second baseman Alexander Hernandez, who singled to the shortstop deep to Blair. Now batting .281. He's 1 for 3 on the day. That last pitch there from Fisher, 91 miles per hour. Two outs, runner at second. That one 92 as Fisher starting to bring it here.
He's getting loose and throwing a hard fastball with some late sink and good velocity. The inside move, or the Dodger move there, done by Jack Fisher, attempting to keep the runner close at second base with 2 outs. The middle infielders, Williams and Blair, are well off the base, not holding him on. So with 2 outs, Lopez could get a significant secondary lead and will go on contact and likely score on a base hit. Fisher throws a good slider in an even count to get ahead 1-2. It was good execution by him.
Hernandez hoping to plate the tying run. Boy, that pitch looked pretty good too from Fisher. 2-2.
Another slider. The pitch was down. Credit Armour for corralling that one, getting in front of it.
Well, during this inning, Brian Radzewski, the pitcher for Miami, was warming up in the bullpen. What's that all about,
Well,
Scott?
with a pitching change and the temperature cooling down just a bit, he's just ensuring that he's going to stay warm because the inning did drag on for a bit, at least in his eyes.
Hernandez did not like the call, but Fisher does the job out of the pen. What a nice move from Coach Tom Walter, coming up with 2 big outs, keeping the runner stranded at second. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th, Wake Forest on top of Miami by a score of 3-2. Fisher getting it done out of the pen.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app. Live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Search ACC Sports on your mobile device.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our create-your-own garden bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
here at Wake Forest, and they are leading Miami by a score of 3-2 after 3 runs in the first inning, and able to handle that threat with only 1 out, a man at second for Miami, and Jack Fisher comes in to mow him down. Meanwhile, Brian Radzewski continues to stay in there, and he is a captivating player. Always talks into his glove before he goes to the mound. Who could forget Mark Fidrich out there talking as well? He was talking to the mound and everything else, but Radzewski, colorful. Usually you see that from relievers, not starters. And
Al Rabowski, the Mad Hungarian, comes to mind.
Yeah, with that great mustache. Did you play with him at Kansas City?
Oh, no.
Way before your time,
No,
right?
he was, well, I would say way, but he was before my time, but he's now a broadcaster, I believe. I think it's for the Cardinals. And it looks like everybody's heading for the hills as some rain is coming in now. The fans are moving back under cover. And that's going to get action up in the bullpen, too, for Miami. They're going double barrel down there with a lefty and righty.
By the way, Scott, you look great. I did not mean to age you there.
No, hey, I
thought
appreciate
maybe that
it.
guy was around for a long time.
Oh, yeah, he was around for a long time. And he was a very colorful pitcher, to say the least, with his antics out there. He'd have a meeting with himself behind the mound, just as Radzewski did. And that meeting helped out quite a bit because he comes back with a breaking ball and gets the strikeout.
And that's the 3rd strikeout of Williams, who's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
And it's been the curveball each time, and it's going to be the curveball once again because it's that big breaker. It starts out up in the zone and then breaks straight down. And Williams swings right over the top.
Rodriguez getting the start here in right field today. He is 0 for 2. Rodriguez now batting .222. He's got 3 doubles and 2 home runs. First inning or the 7th inning, it's going to be some curveballs.
Now, he's going to throw them at all times and really has settled down after that first inning because Wake Forest has 5 hits. They got 3 runs off those 5 hits. Miami contrasts with 8 hits and only 2 runs off that production. But the walks have been the difference.
Two 2-1 count.
And 2-1, normally a fastball count, but it's been the same refrain from Radzewski. He's going to throw breaking balls at any count at any time. He comes back with another. And Rodriguez is going to foul it off. It's a foul ball. Kennedy reaching for another one. One way to know that Rodriguez made contact with it, he's not making an attempt to get to first base after the swing and miss because a runner can advance at the catcher, or a batter can advance it. The catcher doesn't catch the 3rd strike cleanly, and there's the 3rd strike there. Fastball up, elevated, that Rodriguez swings right through.
And his fastball will come in at 82 miles per hour. And 2 up, 2 down, 2 Ks here for Radzewski. He's starting to put together some really solid numbers, which is not a surprise. Remember, he came in with that incredible .97 ERA, and this one almost hitting Stevens. 10 strikeouts for Radzewski.
10 strikeouts through 6+ innings here, 6 2/3. So of the 20 hitters that he's faced, he struck out half of them. 20 outs that he's recorded, half of them in strikeouts. It's a better way to say it.
Here's Evan Stevens. Came into this series with a .378 batting average and has seen it drop 15 points as he's now batting .363. He's 0 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 3 today.
Well, the lefties are giving him trouble right now, and Miami's going to start another one tomorrow. Lefty on lefty is a tough matchup for the very reason that the ball breaks away from the barrel of the bat. And you see more righties than lefties as a left-handed hitter. And the ball is constantly breaking in. You get accustomed to seeing that. And
Yeah, Miami will go with Andrew Suarez tomorrow, 3-4 with a 2.94 ERA. As Radzewski with 10 strikeouts. It's his third double-digit K game this season, as that comes from Cameron Gorby, the fine SID for the University of Miami baseball program, which travels their SIDs because why? Well, Miami's one of the most respected baseball programs in the country. They've made 40 consecutive NCAA regional trips, and of course they've got 4 college national championships as well, and just one of the preeminent programs every single year. First under Ron Frazier, who passed away not that long ago. They're wearing the number 1. You can see it right there on the left of the shirt there of Radzewski. And now Jim Morris has just continued the great trend at Miami.
They continued the excellence, and it is a storied program. Now, Evan Stevens does work the walk with 2 outs, and Stevens has been known to run a time or two. And with 2 outs, and you already have the lead, why not take a chance?
Pretty big lead, and a great hit here now by Mark Ryan. But he wasn't running, so he'll stay right there at second. Mac's got a pretty good arm.
It was a pitch up for Ryan, and he strokes that into right field for the clean single. And now another potential 2-out rally for the Demon Deacons. It's a pitch up that Ryan was able to make solid contact with and hit it into right field. And Pat Blair, the number 3 hitter and one of their most consistent hitters, comes to the plate, although he's not been able to figure out Radzewski yet today. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He does have a walk.
Stayed back, stayed put on the first pitch from Radzewski. Runners at first and second. Blair up the middle, and that'll end it as it goes right to Hernandez, who is standing on second as he catches it. And after 7 innings of play here in Winston-Salem, where it's starting to cool down, it's Wake Forest on top of Miami by a score of 3-2. The Hurricanes coming to bat when we come back.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices. And each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99? That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
The meat of the order coming to bat here as you see the skies getting darker in Winston-Salem. Chance Mack will lead it off here for Miami, one of the better hitters in the ACC, as the Hurricanes trying to come back from the 3 runs they gave up in the first inning. Dean Linke along with Scott Pose, and this is that critical inning, 3, 4, and 5 against the new pitcher here, Jack Fisher, who looked good coming in relief of Stadler in the 7th.
Yeah, Fisher got 2 big outs to retire Palmer and Hernandez to end that 7th inning, and now he's going to face the heart of the Miami order.
Mack, Feger, and Thompson. First pitch at 90 miles per hour.
Mack works ahead in a 2-0 count, and as a leadoff hitter, you're likely going to take a strike in this situation with your team being down a run. Now 3-0, I can bet the farm that Chance Mack will not be swinging at this next pitch. 3-0 is going to be an automatic take, and sometimes leadoff hitters will take that 3-1 as well.
And Fisher, knowing that, just reared back and pretended it was only warming up right there. There's no doubt. Right down the middle, and this one off the corner, and a walk, a leadoff walk for Mack, and that'll bring up Feger. 2 for 4 yesterday. He was hit by a pitch in the first. He's 0 for 2 today. Flew out to the right fielder in the third and grounded out in the sixth.
Well, Jim Morris flashes through the signs. He's got some option with the speedy Chance Mack at first and nobody out. Feger hitting cleanup. Not likely that he would be squaring to bunt, but stranger things have happened.
Mack, who has stolen 12 bases on 15 attempts. Feger does decide to bunt. Mack will get over no problem. And Fisher just decides to meet Feger about 10 yards up the baseline.
Well, great execution by Feger on the sacrifice, because he bunts it towards the first baseline. Fisher was quickly off the mound and makes the play, and that pushes the tying run to second base for Miami. And now Fisher's going to be charged with keeping him there, and he's going to face the hot-hitting David Thompson up at the plate.
Hot hitting, to say the least. Thompson has reached base in 18 straight games for the Miami Hurricanes, and a big double to left in the sixth. He was stranded out there, though. Two RBI, 2-run homer in the first inning yesterday, and another RBI double off the wall yesterday as well. Here he is in another RBI position. 1 out. Wow. Fisher is really all over the strike zone, but not in it.
Yeah,
all
close.
Around it.
He's all around the strike zone, but that slider too far outside to get the call. So now he's got to come back and a 2-0 count. Does the inside move to keep Mack close at second base? And sometimes pitchers do that because they're not sure the pitch they're going to throw or aren't together on the sign. I don't think that's the case there, but now he gets together with his catcher Armour and is ready for the delivery.
Thompson also a quarterback on the Miami football team. I've heard they're not bad either.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I don't think it's club football down there in Miami. I think they're full-fledged Division I, from what I understand. Yeah, but that's a great program too. And Thompson's a great athlete to be able to do both.
Been seen with a shoulder sling. A lot of people think that's a result of more of quarterbacking than in baseball. Here's Thompson, and umpire, I believe he called time before that one, didn't he?
Yeah, he called time, whether the catcher did. Sometimes the umpire will indicate whether it was the catcher or the batter, but time was called on the 3-0 count, so we'll redo it again. Fisher thought that a pickoff play may be on. He wheeled on that play and fakes the throw. Nobody there at second base, so he holds on to the baseball.
.30 count. Fisher inside corner, strike one, 3-1 now here to Thompson. 1 out after Mack advanced on the sacrifice from the cleanup hitter Feger. And that's how they've had to manufacture some runs this year. Not a big power hitting team, to say the least, Miami. A little different for Jim Morris's Hurricanes program. They had to do a whole lot more manufacturing of runs, and Thompson slung the bat. Was headed down to first, and he was told to come on back.
He thought that pitch was inside, and one thing he did, it's a no-no, is throw the bat down and run down before the umpire calls it a strike. Jason Bradley says it is, makes him come back. And the count's now full.
Crowd gets into it as well. Full count, 1 out. Tying run at second. Great speed for Mack, so Fisher just making sure, keeping Mack honest. Thompson hits the ball so hard that there could be a play at the plate, even with one driven to the outfield. And this time, it is a ball, and Thompson will fling it again. And Head down to first now. Runners at first and second with one out.
If you're Wake Forest, it's not the worst thing in the world to happen. Now there's runners at first and second, but the double play is in order. So Fisher just one pitch away from getting out of the inning if he's able to induce the ground ball.
Alex San Juan, who has had his 10th multi-hit game of the season with his 2 singles, one in the second, one in the fourth, both to right field. He grounded out his last time, and now Fisher will talk it over with the pitching coach.
And this is just going to be a conference to set the defense for the Deacons. Runners at first and second, one out. San Juan at the plate. We'll talk over potential pickoffs they could run off this defense, or the positioning. And what goes hand in hand with positioning the infielders is how the pitchers are going to work the hitters. It does the team no good if they're playing the hitter to hit the ball the other way and the pitcher constantly throw balls inside and they hit against the shift. So you're coordinating all those things when you're going out and talking to a pitcher in a situation like this.
Miami 33-18, 12-13 in the uber competitive Atlantic Coast Conference. So many fantastic teams. Georgia Tech with that great offense. North Carolina, which has been atop the rankings most of the season as well, doing a great job. Who else you like?
Well, anybody that's going to get in that tournament has a chance. I really think so. And I mean, when you look at the conference and you look at them top to bottom, it's definitely one of the strongest in the country, if not the strongest. But Virginia's playing awfully well right now, as is NC State. Carolina's got pitching. Florida State and NC State are going in a tough series right now this weekend. But the conference is so good, anybody in the top 5 or 6 can win the whole conference. This ball is bounded off the instep of San Juan as he fouls it off his instep, but he's fine.
Another hit to right field for San Juan. They'll hold up Mack with bases loaded. Pretty good throw from the right fielder, Joey Rodriguez, but bases loaded for Miami here in the top of the 8th. One out for the Hurricanes as Garrett Kennedy, the left-hander, heads to the plate.
Well, it was a fastball away, and San Juan drives it into right field and hits it to the right fielder, Rodriguez, who made a great throw through the cutoff man at first base. There's a lefty getting loose in the Wake Forest bullpen. They're going to elect to let Fisher stay in the game, and the righty faced the lefty hitting catcher with the bases loaded and one out.
Just missing the corner is Fisher.
Now, if you're Wake Forest, you're going to have the corners play in the middle, you're playing at double play depth. So if the ball's hit to a corner infielder, likely they're going to come home to cut the run off.
And now it's 2-0. To Kennedy, bases loaded, one out. Miami down a run here in the top of the 8th. Good strike from Fisher.
And Fisher paints the outside corner with the fastball, and now it's a 2-1 count. Normally a fastball count. If you're the hitter, you're looking for a low fastball, usually about waist high. If you're a pitcher, you're trying to sink it down in the zone and induce a ground ball in this situation.
As you said, Coach Walter electing to stay with Fisher. Nico Spezial, the left-handed pitcher, the senior from Waldwick, New Jersey, is warming up in the bullpen. With the right-hander Lopez on deck. He's going to leave it to Fisher, I do believe.
It was a slider on the outside part of the plate, and Kennedy spoiled that pitcher's pitch. It was a quality pitch from Jack Fisher.
Spezial still watching from the bullpen as it's on Fisher. And what a pitch to get Kennedy. Kennedy disgusted. A big strikeout for Fisher. 2 outs now, bases loaded, and the fans here at Wake Forest love the effort of Fisher as you see the rain coming down now.
Well, a slider on the count, and it disappears, and there's no way that Kennedy can make contact. That's a quality pitch from your pitcher with the bases loaded and just 1 out. Now there's 2 outs, and there's a force at any base for the Deacons, and they're pretty close to getting out of this inning with no further damage.
Such a wonderful facility, though. The crowd here able to just gather behind home plate as the overhang keeps everybody dry.
Got a few sprinkles right now, but that could cause an issue on the turf because once the turf gets wet, it gets slick. Not raining very hard, though, so maybe a moot point.
Lopez with 2 RBIs already. Can he get another one? And a great, no, did he drop it? Indeed, the center field did drop it, so Lopez now with 2 more RBIs. Unless they give him an error, they'll call him out at third, but I do believe both runs will plate. As diving for it out there in center field, Evan Stevens, we'll have to see a replay. It looked like he had a beat on it.
Well, Evan Stevens did have to dive for it to make the play to prevent any runs from scoring. It's going to go as a base hit. The ball was hit on a line. Stevens got a good jump and is going to try to get his glove underneath it on the slide. And it appears that when he dove, the ball hit in his glove, but then he's not able to come up with it cleanly and had to reach back to pick it up. He does throw the ball over to get Alex San Juan, who was trying to go to third base, but because of this turf, maybe because it got wet, but San Juan overslides the bag. As a result, Ryan keeps the tag on him and is recorded out at third base.
All 4 RBIs, as it is recorded as a hit, go to the shortstop, Brandon Lopez. Now remember, Lopez ended his night yesterday with his first home run of his career, and now he's come back with 4 RBIs, and guess what? With the score 4-3, every single one a quality RBI.
That is a quality RBI and a big RBI for the Hurricanes because now that puts them up a run. And that means that's going to be the end of the day as the Hurricanes take the field for Brian Radzewski. And Javi Salas is going to come in the game, the big right-hander out of the Miami bullpen, and take over. So Radzewski is going to be the pitcher of record and has the chance to get a victory.
One other change for Miami defensively, number 17, Chris Barr, now playing first base in the place of number 27, Seager.
So Salas from Coral Gables, Florida, another one of those kids who grew up watching Miami baseball, so many of them on this team. He'll come in with a 5-4 record, a 3.31 ERA. He's pitched 65 innings with 37 strikeouts. And Javi Salas now here in the bottom of the 8th. And it's worth mentioning that one of the Stopper of the Year candidates in the ACC and was on the midseason watch list is Eric Nedeljkovic, who is warming up out in the bullpen.
Yeah, he's their closer. Salas is going to be the bridge to get to the closer if it gets to that point for Miami, but it's not going to be very easy for Salas because he's going to be facing the heart of the Wake Forest order. Conway and Carey, the 2 leading home run hitters on the Wake Forest squad, are due up this inning.
And the 4 RBIs is the first ever 4 RBI game of Lopez's career. So it's his first ever home run yesterday. And he now has 7 RBIs in his last 5 games. And people are starting to see exactly what they were expecting, touted as nearly a top 10 freshman recruit drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. And boy, we've really seen Brandon Lopez defensively as well, fantastic, and really nice stick this weekend.
Well, he's hitting the ball and hitting the ball well. And speaking of which, Conway hits it up the middle, but look at Hernandez making the play. Holy cow. Ranging well behind second base to his right. Momentum carrying him into left field. And he uncorks a throw that gets Conway rather easily. It looked like it was going to be a base hit off the bat, but look at Hernandez. Range to his right and then throw on the run. The jump throw into left field, and it's a perfect strike to Barr at first base. It's a fine play by the Miami second baseman.
Here's Jack Carey, though. He's 3 for 3 as Carey and Chambly have really been hitting the ball well for Wake Forest. Chambly is on deck. Carey, the DH. He's been up 3 times. He singled to center, right, and left, so he sprayed the ball all over the place.
Well, there's 6 hits on the day, and there's 5 of them between the next 2 guys coming up to the plate. Between them. Most of their production on the day so far at the plate.
Salas now, that last pitch at 92 miles per hour.
The big, tall right-hander can run it up there fairly well, and the thing that's impressive about him, too, is he uses his frame well. It's not a max effort. He throws it rather effortlessly and gets good velocity out of the pitch.
It's actually Thomas Woodry, the freshman left-handed pitcher, that's warming up in the bullpen for Jim Morris.
Yeah, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, just good old country hardball right there from Salas, who gets the fastball up, and Carey can't lay off and swings right through it. Elevated fastball with any velocity on at all is tough to catch up to, and this is right above the belt. And Carey just a bit behind, and a strikeout for the Hurricane pitcher.
I was really looking forward to seeing Nedeljkovic, but the 4-3 lead right now.
Day's not over yet, but there's a good chance he could get the save opportunity in the 9th.
Salas. The way he's throwing, might as well keep him in there, though. He's bringing some heat.
Things could change in a heartbeat. Wake Forest could put some hits together here, and it may not get to that point. So
hard to get this man out. 5 for 5 in his last 6 at-bats, including a sacrifice bunt that was executed perfectly. Grant Chambly, though, looks at a 92-mile-per-hour fastball, and the count's at 1-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Wake Forest has surrendered their 3-run lead. Miami now on top 4-3, and this one high and tight. And Chambly tosses the bat in disgust. And after 8 innings of play, the Miami Hurricanes have come back to take the lead over Wake Forest by a score of 4-3. We'll bring you the 9th inning around the corner with Salas throwing some heat.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our Create-Your-Own Garden Bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the home to Wake Forest. They got off to that 3-0 lead in the first inning, but the Miami Hurricanes, coached by Jim Morris, have battled back. They get 2 in the 8th, and they now lead Wake Forest by a score of 4-3 with Dale Carey coming forward. All 4 RBIs for the fine shortstop Brandon Lopez.
Rain starting to come down fairly steady now.
Fisher stays in. Carey, very speedy. Tries to lay one down, having a tough season at 193, doing anything he can to get on base, but handled neatly there by Ryan.
Not a bad idea on the wet turf, but Ryan comes in and makes the play. It's well done and not an easy play to make with the ball being wet and the turf wet, but Mark Ryan does a good job to get the speedy carry at first base.
Tyler Palmer, 3 hits yesterday, 0 for 4 today. His average sits now at 262 with 6 RBIs. And Nedeljkovic is warming up in the bullpen. Scott Pose said, hang on, just because he wasn't out there in the 8th doesn't mean he won't come out in the 9th.
And hang on right there, because Mark Ryan is 1 out away from tying a record that are held by many, making all 3 putouts or assists in the inning. But man, he stays in front of this hot shot. Here was a fastball on the outside part of the plate. Palmer rolls over it, but hits a rocket to Ryan, but he's able to keep it in front. That's very important, because then he's able to gather it and make the play. Nice play by the Wake Forest Demon Deacon third baseman.
So with Nedeljkovic out there, would you say he's coming in?
I'd say without a doubt. If it's a save situation, and he's going to be in the game to close it down. So Jim Morris is talking to Hernandez, and I think this is an attempt to stall to give Nedeljkovic, easy for me to say, time to warm up.
Yeah, great call, Scott. Right after he talked to him, he spent all of his time walking back to his coaching position, watching the bullpen, and he looks over again at the bullpen.
He wants to make sure he's ready, and he always has the option too.
That's one way to give him more time. A good hit by Hernandez that gets through, and Hernandez now going for 2, and he'll have a stand-up double in the top of the 9th as the Hurricanes trying to give more support.
Well, one of the things that happens when the rain starts to fall steadily and the turf gets wet is the gaps get slick. Hernandez hits this ball well, but it shoots right through the outfield and gets to the wall. As a result, he gets a sure double. Earlier in the game, we saw a number of those hits, but the outfielders were able to get to them, but not now. There's no chance of that. This ball was scalded, goes to the gap, and shoots straight to the wall. And that's going to be a double. Tom Walter's going to come out, and I think we're going to see another pitching change. That lefty's going to come in to face Chance Mack.
Spezial, I believe.
Spezial's going to face Mack, who has been swinging a hot bat so far in the first 2 games this weekend. Rain falling pretty steadily now.
So Fisher gets a round of applause. At the moment, though, Fisher will take the loss, I believe.
Yeah, Fisher is the pitcher of record, as Miami went in front of the game. He is the pitcher of record, that is correct.
Spezial comes in with a 4-0 record, 20 appearances. He's pitched 26 innings, 13 walks, and 21 strikeouts for number 27, the left-hander Nico Spezial.
Well, Spezial has a good breaking ball as well. That's his best pitch and one he'll go to when he needs a strikeout or an out. It's a big overhand curveball. And that's his out pitch. As a hitter, when you go to the plate, you want to know what a pitcher's velocity is like fastball-wise, and then you want to know what pitch are they going to go to if they need an out, or what's their out pitch. And that gives you an educated guess of what that repertoire and what you're going to face in certain situations, because this is so much a game of counts. You know, if you're down on the count, you're likely to see the out pitch, and if you're in a fastball count, you have an idea of the velocity and are able to size it up. Rain falling steady now. It's really picked up.
Speaking of sizing it up, Miami's actually got some fans here in Winston-Salem enjoying the game here today.
Yeah, Miami's travels well, and there's a few fans here sporting some Miami Hurricanes paraphernalia here at Gene Hooks Field on the campus of Wake Forest University.
Chance Mack will dig in. And this one will hang in. They're saying out of play, but Chance Mack will pop up the first pitch from Spezial, and Miami now will go to the bottom of the ninth, and we could see the big closer for the Hurricanes, Nedeljkovic, when we come back. It's Miami 4, Wake Forest 3, right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
You can't keep greatness in a box, so we won't. The ACC mobile app, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Imagine seeing this on this. That's greatness. For the ACC schools you live for, it's the app you can't live without. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Nokia Lumia Windows Phone. The ACC mobile app. Live games, video, scores, stats, news, and greatness. Search ACC Sports on your mobile device.
Welcome to Ruby Tuesday, where we're cooking up over 15 chef-inspired selections for under $15, starting at just $9.99, creating something new for everyone. Delicious food at mouth-watering prices, and each comes with your choice of over a dozen fresh sides, including our create-your-own garden bar. They're dishes you won't find anywhere else, cooked just the way you want with our special toppings and unique sauces. Over 15 delicious meals, under $15, starting at $9.99. That's right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesday.
Raining here in Winston-Salem, and Miami raining on the Wake Forest parade. They got off to a 3-0 lead in the first inning, but the Hurricanes have come back with 4, including 2 in the 8th inning. And now one of the best closers in the ACC and in the country, Eric Nedeljkovic, comes in with a .76 ERA, a 2-1 record, making his 23rd appearance. He has walked 2 batters and struck out 27.
Well, that's a very impressive strikeout to walk ratio, nearly 15-1. It's actually a great ratio, but he's going to throw strikes. He's got an out pitch, but he throws from an odd arm angle. It's almost a 3/4 angle, as the rain is really coming down now. And honestly, if I'm Wake Forest, I'm trying to bunt on the play, just to make the fielders field a wet baseball.
We started the show talking to you about a storm coming in, and Mother Nature doing us a favor, has held off here till now the bottom of the ninth, the last at bat for Wake Forest, as Brett Armour steps in to face Nedeljkovic. He's allowed 2 earned runs all season, both versus Florida State. He has the cockiness on the mound that you love from a closer, and his first pitch is a ball.
Nedeljkovic tries the slider to start things off and misses down low, but it looks like he's trying to get a grip and also get his bearings as the rain falls steadily now here at Gene Hooks Field.
This one high, it's 2-0 for Nedeljkovic, who will have to continue to keep the ball dry.
Well, he's trying to keep his fingers dry too, so he's hiding his hands in the pants just to try to dry them off, or his shirt anyway. Grip's going to be important, and he's asking for a new baseball.
Two and 0 here to Armour. Bottom of the ninth inning, Wake Forest desperate for an ACC win. Probably need to win out for even a remote shot at making the ACC tournament. 2-0 count from Nedeljkovic. Rain coming down hard now here in Winston-Salem.
Fastball away, and now it's a 2-1 count. And now it looks like third base umpire Scott Klein is saying, all right, let's get off the field. And they're going to put a tarp on the mound. And we're going to have a bit of a rain delay.
So even with the turf field, it really is unplayable here as the rain coming in not directly down, a little bit sideways. And so indeed we'll have a rain delay here in Winston-Salem. with the Miami Hurricanes on top by a score of 4-3. We're going to take a little break here from Winston-Salem with Miami on top by a run right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. And Eric Nedeljkovic is back on the mound after a 15-minute plus rain delay here in Winston-Salem as we're in the bottom of the ninth, and Wake Forest finds himself down a run. Dean Linke along with Scott Pose right here on the ACC Digital Network from the great Wake Forest Baseball Park, Gene Hooks Field. Nedeljkovic was the pitcher when the rain came down. He's back in there, Scott. Tell me about that.
Well, he's facing Brett Armour, who could be facing the longest at bat of his college career with that 15-minute rain delay, but it's a 2-1 count on Brett Armour. There is nobody out. He's the leadoff hitter in the inning, and Nedeljkovic is the closer for Miami, and an accomplished one at that. So rain no longer an issue. And now there aren't the problems with the grip on the ball or anything else. It's a 2-1 count on Brett Armour. The Demon Deacons are down 1 run and are trying to get a runner on base any way possible right now. It is a save situation, and Nedeljkovic has 12 saves on the year already.
Only allowed 2 runs, both of those coming against Florida State. Looking for another save. 26 minutes is the official time on the rain delay. And a ball for Nedeljkovic, who really was having trouble keeping his hand dry, let alone the ball. It was pouring out there, but good job by the crew here. Remember, the only dirt out there is the dirt that Nedeljkovic is standing on, and a leadoff walk for Armour after a 26-minute delay.
Well, only the 3rd walk all year given up by Nedeljkovic. And the leadoff hitter is aboard. I fully expect Tom Walter to put on the sacrifice bunt here as the tying run's at first. Andrew Williams is at the plate. Had a rough day so far with 3 strikeouts, but he could help his team here by sacrificing Armour to second base.
Yeah, Brian Radzewski had his way with Williams, who was part of 3 of the 10 strikeouts Radzewski had in exactly 7 innings pitched. Gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. Man on first, nobody out. It's the tying run on first, and Williams with those 3 strikeouts, can you believe it? Has popped up here, and a tough at bat for Williams and a tough afternoon.
Well, he tries to get the bunt down, but gets the barrel below the ball and pops it straight up. And catcher Kennedy gets a good jump on the ball and back to the ball in time to make the catch. Last thing Andrew Williams wanted to have happen is to pop that bunt up, but that's precisely what happened. So now Tom Walter is going to go to the bench to bring in a pinch hitter, and it looks like it's going to be Charlie Morgan.
Yeah, good, tough, left-handed hitter. Had shoulder surgery in the offseason, did not play in the fall, but he is one of those, what they call gym rats. He is always practicing baseballs. The throwback from Nedeljkovic, trying to get Armour cheating as Charlie Morgan now will settle in. He comes in with a .259 batting average. He's got 2 home runs, 17 RBIs on the season to go with 20 runs. Nedeljkovic, candidate for the ACC Closer of the Year, trying to close this one out in what would be a come-from-behind victory for Miami. They gave up 3 in the first inning and then got 1 back in the second. RBI. They got 1 in the 4th, and then they got 2 in the 8th. Is Brandon Lopez with all 4 RBIs. And Nedeljkovic 1-0 here. Big out against Williams on the bunt. Pinch hitter Morgan. 6'3", 210-pound Morgan. Thrown back by Nedeljkovic again. Chris Barr, the replacement at first base, replacing Brad Figers. He often does late in games for Jim Morris and the Miami Hurricanes. 1-0 count. Outside, no though. Called a strike. Caught the corner, and the fans here don't like it. Looked a little outside.
Well, the most important opinion in the park is Jason Bradley's, and he said it got the outside corner. Kennedy framed it.
I thought it was yours.
Oh, gosh, no. We know that.
Morgan, 1-1. Nice move from Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic, not a big, imposing reliever out of the bullpen, but he is nasty. Just rears back and with a lot of momentum.
Well, he 3/4 the ball. He sort of slings it up there, and it's deceptive on hitters, and it's an unconventional mechanics, but he's very effective. And you don't have to doubt that when you look at his numbers.
2-1. 1 out. And Charlie Morgan with a big pinch hit. Remember, it's going to push because of the rain. They're going to try to tie it up right here in the bottom of the 9th. No play at the plate. They're going to throw it anyway. And in comes the run, and we're tied at 4 here in Winston-Salem. After the rain delay, Wake Forest responds.
Well, Charlie Morgan gets a pitch out over the plate and drives it into the gap, and on this wet turf, the ball's going to take off to the wall. That ball hits the gap, and it's going to allow Brett Armour to score all the way from first base. It's a fastball away, and Charlie Morgan drives it to the left center gap. It hits off the wall, and by the time Carey gets the ball in, Lopez tries to relay the throw to home plate, but it's not before Brett Armour scores all the way from first base. Now there's going to be a pinch runner for Charlie Morgan at first base. It's going to be number 21, Kevin Jordan. And he represents the winning run for Wake Forest at second base.
First runs given up by Nedeljkovic since the April 5th series with Florida State.
Yeah, will go as an earned run because that leadoff walk in Brett Armour is who came around to score. Now the order flips over, and Evan Stevens, the leading hitter on Wake Forest average-wise, is at the plate with 1 out and a runner at second base.
Evan Stevens, who had really his best at-bat of the weekend, his last at-bat, earning a walk against Radzewski.
And this is going to be an intentional walk against Stevens. Jim Morris electing to forego pitching to the lefty with the base open. It's going to put him on to set up the double play with 1 out and the righty-on-righty matchup. Nedeljkovic is going to have to face Mark Ryan and then Pat Blair possibly after that.
So Evan Stevens will get the pass with Ryan coming up. So now 2 men on with Kevin Jordan at second base. Remember, Kevin Jordan, who had the failed kidney, and his coach Tom Walter gave him his kidney. So Ryan, the right-hander, will step in. Single to right field, his last at bat. Wake Forest able to answer. Tie it up here in the bottom of the 9th against one of the best closers in the game, Nedeljkovic. And he'll call time as Nedeljkovic trying to get the signal, Scott.
Well, he's got it now, but time's going to be called once again, this time by the hitter and Mark Ryan. A slider called for a strike, much to the dismay of the Wake Forest faithful here. Gene Hook's field. It's a first pitch slider from Nedeljkovic. And it's called a strike.
Makes you go, 0-1 to Ryan. Batting .271. Late on it.
Well, the zone expands with him being down in the count. Now he finds himself down 0-2 after seeing 2 sliders.
Pat Blair waiting on deck. Miami turned 5 double plays yesterday against Wake Forest. They'd like to have one here to push this one to extra innings.
It's a fastball away. Well off the plate. Nedeljkovic trying to expand that zone away, and now that opens up the inside part of the plate should he want to exploit it. Mark Ryan's got to protect with 2 strikes.
Four, bottom of the 9th. Wake Forest with a big run here in the bottom of the 9th after a 26-minute rain delay. Thanks for hanging with us here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Delighted to be with you for 2 days here. Last night, Miami with the 8-3 win, as seen right here at ACCDN, and here we are at 4-4, the bottom of the 9th.
That was a fastball away, fouled off by Mark Ryan.
One and two. This is bad on the ball. Perfect double play ball. And it's a little bit late. Runner on third. Good hustle there by Ryan. As the combination of Hernandez and Lopez looked like the perfect double play ball, but
well, Ryan runs well, and ball was hit hard. Hernandez got down to it. A good flip over to Lopez at shortstop, but just not quite hit hard enough. Didn't look like there was any trouble with the exchange. Hernandez got to the ball quickly. Good feed. Lopez got over there as quickly as possible, but Ryan was just running too well. And if you're Wake Forest, I don't think there's anybody they'd rather have at the plate right now than Pat Blair. He's a 3-hole hitter. You got runners at first and third. Big hole between first and second. An opportunity to win the ball game for the Demon Deacons for Pat Blair.
Ooh, that'll hit him, so now bases are loaded. Blair looks to be okay.
Yeah, he turned into it just a bit, but that's going to be hit by pitch. The winning run is 90 feet away, and no place to put Matt Conway, who's a formidable hitter in himself. It's a slider, but watch Blair as he turns inward, and it hits right off his upper bicep near his shoulder. That would be the tricep area. Hit by pitch, bases loaded, 2 out. Tie game, bottom of the 9th.
Conway 0 for 3, but 337 on the season. Big opportunity for Conway. Highlighted him to start the show just around 4 o'clock here at the Wake Forest Baseball Park, and now Conway can cap it right here with a game winner. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, 4-4 score, 0-1 count. Nedeljkovic right down the heart of the plate, 0-2. Conway didn't agree. Pretty good pitch, though.
A real good pitch, and he's Conway, I think, guessing slider, but I can guarantee he's going to get one here, something well off the plate and away. You don't want the big guy to get a pitch on the middle of the plate if you're Miami, and Conway's got to protect the plate now, down 0-2 in the count.
Carey in center. Ricky Eusebio now in left. Chance Mack in right. That's your outfield for Miami. Position pretty close. 0-2 count. Conway stays alive. We also came on the air talking to you about a potential storm. It did come in the 9th inning, 26-minute delay. Picked her up right here on the bottom of the 9th, and Wake able to come out with no outs in the bottom of the 9th with the tying run. Tied at 4. Trying to end it here. 0-2 count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Miami hoping for extra innings. Nedeljkovic sets. High, good eye.
It's a fastball up, but Conway did himself well to lay off that pitch. And that sets up the breaking ball now. Tom Walter yelling to Matt Conway some words of encouragement, telling him to take it 1 pitch at a time, and that's where we're at right now.
Three home runs for Conway. Just wants to drive it anywhere where an orange jersey isn't. Fouls it off, stays alive, still 1-2.
Well, another fastball in. And Conway fights it off.
Conway, redshirt junior from Birmingham, Michigan. Brother Rice High School. His brother Kevin Conway also on the Wake Forest team for Coach Tom Walter. Nedeljkovic with his 26th pitch. Boy, did that look good. He'll take it. It's now 2-2.
Oh, another pitch down. Trying to work high to low, change the eye level, and then come back down in the zone. But now the count is even, 2-2.
Conway with that enormous strike zone, 6'7" frame, stands up for most of it. Tiny crouch. Gets a piece of it through the gap, and Wake Forest has won. How about the Demon Deacons as they storm the field? Matt Conway with the shower after the shower. A big win for the Demon Deacons.
Well, Conway comes through on the 2-2 count with the bases loaded, sprays that ball off. A tough closer in Nedeljkovic into right field for the base hit. Wake Forest with a great victory coming from behind, down a run in the 9th inning to push 2 runs across.
What an at-bat right here from Conway.
Well, he fought back from the 0-2 count, gets a 2-2 pitch away. It looked to be off the plate, but he drives it through the hole between first and second. Hernandez makes a diving attempt, not able to come up with it, and that's going to be the ball game and a victory for Wake Forest. And Kevin Jordan comes across to score.
The spirit of Tom Walter. Give Wake Forest credit. A lot of teams, I'll tell you take that 3-run lead, you're feeling good about things, and then they surrender that lead with 2 runs to Miami in the top of the 8th and come back after a 26-minute rain delay with 2 big runs.
Well, what a ball game for Wake Forest. They jumped out early on a very good pitcher and Brian Radzewski. They scored 3 runs, and then offense kind of went dormant for a while. Miami clawed their way back into the game to go up by a run, and then the leadoff walk during the rain. You had the rain delay, and then set things up for the way things unfolded. And Charlie Morgan coming up with a huge hit for Wake Forest, hitting that double to drive the tying run across. And then finally, Matt Conway stepping up and driving in yet another run for these Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and a great victory for Wake Forest against a tough Miami team.
Indeed, and it's been a pleasure being with you here in Winston-Salem. You see Tom Walter, the fine coach of Wake Forest, saluting his team. I want to thank our Coordinating producer Andy Siegel, our producer-director Kelly Heddleson, and the entire crew from the ACC Digital Network. For my broadcast partner, former Major Leaguer Scott Pose, I'm Dean Linke, where your final score once again from the Wake Forest Baseball Park is Wake Forest 5 and Miami 4. And you saw it all right here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.